Hey, good evening, everyone. It's a wonderful, wonderful Thursday evening here. We've got a lot of things to talk about on the CAF update tonight. I have had a very busy week. I'm actually taking 2 days off, Friday and Saturday. I will not be working. I've got some friends in town, and I'll be uh, taking a well-deserved rest, I think, for a couple of days. But today, we've got a whole slate of topics to go over. But I wanted to, just initially recognize the fact that legendary cartoonist Al Jaffe did pass on Monday. Lived to be 102. Had one of the Guinness Book of World Records longest career in the comic art field. One of the he achieved the Reuben Award, one of the most prestigious cartoonist awards that can be given to anybody. And Al has, certainly. I mean, you look at the Mad Folden. I mean, as a child, I can tell you, I ruined many a Mad magazine wondering what the Mad Folden was going to be on the back of every book, and I'm sure many of you did as well. I've talked to a few people the last couple of days, and I do hope to have a few special guests on next week to do a bit of a tribute to Al's life and legacy in this field, and I think that's going to work out. I'll kind of keep everybody up to date on that probably early next week. But Al was just an incredible gentleman. I never got to meet him, but I've read many interviews about him. I saw and watched a really great tribute by Richard Friend over on YouTube earlier today to Al's life and career. And, Richard does a fantastic job. I mean, he's been in the business for a long time, and he really did a great job kind of covering a lot of the high points from Al's career and why Al was important to him. And I think that there's many artists out there that would agree that, Al was an important influence in their life and probably just their careers. You think of all the amazing creators at Mad Magazine that he got to work with and share time with, and what an amazing man and amazing career. So again, we'll do a tribute of some sort next week for certain to Al. But it's We've lost a lot of creators in the last few years, and we always try to do some form of tribute. I've never done a really great job on that, but I hope to do better going forward. So hey, now we're going to get into what I've been talking about for the last couple of days, and that's finally being able to talk a little bit about the show that we've got coming up in late January in 2024. And I've got two special guests to join me. And first up, we've got Mr. Sean Gordon Murphy and his agent, Jeff Martin. And I'll get myself here in the lower half of this screen. So how are you guys doing tonight? It's Sean, we were talking earlier. You were not in your studio. You've got the cleanest looking place of the three of us tonight.
Yeah, I have a house in New Hampshire that we're renovating to rent out. So I'm here to shake down some contractors by myself. So I'm not surrounded by my normal cool nerdy things, but I do, however, have rum with me, so that helps. But yeah, you guys have really great looking studios back there. I'm a little bit jealous.
Well,
but just water.
Right. And all I've got is Coke, no rum. So, that's how it goes. But, I'm glad that you guys could do this tonight. I've known for a long time that I wanted to do an art show in Orlando, and probably for like the last 4 years, it was something that was on my mind, but I didn't want to do it until I got down here. And of course, I finally made the move in when did I get down here? October. And so that really didn't give me the opportunity to plan a show in a short amount of time, since I knew I wanted to do it off con season and get it somewhere in that February 1st range, because I wanted to tie it to CAF's anniversary and make it something related to CAF, but also something related directly related to the comic arts and sequential arts. And but I needed that winter time frame, and so this year wasn't going to work, but next year 2024 is obviously what I'm targeting. And you guys were the first people that I wanted to reach out to, because Sean, you've always been super supportive of what we've done here. You've had a couple shows with me that's just fun, and you've been in the chat many a night. And
right.
Yeah, and I just felt like if anybody might get what I was trying to pitch, that it would be the both of you. And unfortunately, when we talked, I think it was in early January, you understood what I was going for. And and it really, I can kind of just tell everybody here, I've brushed lightly on it already in previous shows, but we want to have a art-centric show that is really focused on artists and collectors, first and foremost, the reps and dealers in original comic art as well. And and then really any ancillary thing that kind of surrounds our hobby, whether it's auction houses or potentially certain publishers like IDW that cater to to our field by doing their the amazing artist edition books, those sorts of things, but keeping it all
Yeah.
comic art focused, and you guys were on board with the idea.
Yeah, I mean, I remember talking to Mark Miller about this, and he said 'cause he just bought this bar in London, this 800-year-old bar, and it was his friend who ran it. And I said, "Oh, what makes you want to own a bar?" And he said, "It wasn't that. I believe in investing in people." And I feel like with you, Bill, like I like hearing new ideas. I like disruptors. I think conventions as they're run are fine, but I think that there's room for a boutique show that caters just to art. And there's been such a boom in collectability in the past few years, plus with COVID and all that. The fact that we don't have like a bona fide outlet where fans of the medium can come and meet and hang out and do events. It's not about writers or about action figures, about all that stuff, which is obviously great. The chance to do what they do in Europe over here seems too good to be true. So I'm very excited to just see where this goes. And I trust you, Bill, and you've got a lot of great contacts. So if like I can help this or join or invest in you just with my time, I'm all about that, honestly. You seem like a trustworthy guy, so I'm gonna bet on Bill.
Yeah, I think my 20 plus years doing this has earned me a little bit of respect, but that's the thing. In the majority of my time in the hobby, I never really tried to leverage that, the cloud, or just the whatever the cachet that I've had in the hobby. I've just been very happy not seeing what that could bring. But this is something that I've really wanted to do for a long time. And everybody knows I'm all about creating events. I mean, I owned a miniature golf course I've done meet and greets in comic art up in Ohio a few times, and it's just something that's in my blood. And I was part owner in Big Wow back when Mortar and Steve Wyatt and Frank Cho and Mark Hay were all principals in that, and it was a lot of fun. It was a lot of work too, but that was on that was a con on a grand scale, and when I just knew that something smaller would work better for me. And we're kind of fortunate. We have dealer focused shows, right? We have a con in New Jersey that happens a couple times a year. Bashar does a few shows on the West Coast each year, and those are good, but those really cater to vintage art collectors. And while I want those collectors there and those dealers at the show as well, we definitely wanted to focus on the artists first. I mean, at the end of the day, I'll be perfectly honest. Before I started doing live streams, artists were the one segment of the hobby that I had the least interaction with through CAF. I was always dealing with dealers or collectors first, then art dealers and auction houses, and artists just never were a part of the kind of the audience that I was really catering to. And so it was something I always felt was lacking.
I think what you've done at CAF, whether intentionally or indirectly, is get artists to really think about their portfolios and how to sell, how to market that as a side. I think a lot of artists view their original art as like a convenient side business that comes and goes every now and then, but they're mostly focused on their royalties and their pages, getting into the publisher. But when I started to realize how much more money I was making selling to dealers with the original art, like, I only want to write Batman stories where I can write myself cool things that I can put in pages and then sell. It's definitely about the story, but I find myself being more careful with the originals now and really like putting another layer of blacks over the black just so it gets to be like a nice original. Because I'm imagining that popping to a potential buyer saying, "Ooh, man, I love how Batman, how dark this," whatever it is. I remember, we've all bought art where it's old and you see like coffee rings on it and phone numbers and little doodles and like all that stuff's like charming and it's kind of cool. But I find myself trying to think more like a gallery owner at times. And I think a lot of artists are thinking that way too now. I mean, I think it's the culture that you've built here. I mean, when anyone comes on now to interview, it's like they better have some opinion on how to sell their art or what to say to their big buyers and how to treat people. Like they better have thought it through, because they're just going to look pretty silly if they show up on CAF with nothing to say,
Right.
So I think this promotes the idea of being your own art dealer in some ways, even though I hired this guy to do it for me.
Thank you.
So
I'll
can I
just
give a
say
shout out to
later.
Nick Perucci, Belanger, and Steve Mussolino? I saw you up in the comments too. It's good to see you guys. Thank you. Sorry, Jeff, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No worries. I was just gonna say the community of CAF is amazing. Just to see people post their, you know, their gains, their collections, what they put together, and it's a great community. It's wonderful to see, you know, people kind of sharing what they've compiled over the years. New people getting into the hobby and people who've been collecting for decades. So it's very cool to check out.
Yeah.
No, I feel very fortunate to be the gatekeeper to the, you know, to CAF, and then getting to do these live streams and be more in front of the hobby and be kind of you know, the spokesman for things. It's been a lot of fun. I mean, it's been a bit of a burden at times, knowing, like, you know, where we can take things and what my responsibilities are. But it just made me want to do the show even more. But you know, I wanted it to be somewhat different too. I wanted to work with you know, the exhibitors. I wanted to be more engaged. You know, if you were going to be there, I wanted to help make sure you were going to get sales, and I want to be able to use, like, you know, this platform here, you know, as far as doing live streams and interviews throughout the year leading up to it, to really promote it and introduce people who are you know, to the show through like a 30-minute interview, saying, you know, I've got Johnny's going to be here. These are the things we hope to do. And throughout the whole year leading up to the show, just always reminding people what we're going to be doing and who the new guests are. But one of those things being, you know, because typically shows, you know, and this is true, I mean, having owned one, you know, the two main concerns are getting somebody to sit at a table and getting somebody through the door. And that's what their role is, right? They need to get bodies in the door to create sales and interaction and commerce. And I think, and both of those things are important, but typically, you know, the cons outside of panels and those sorts of things don't really get too involved with the commerce side of things. And, you know, the last couple of years of being very engaged with you know, with anybody who wanted to work with me through the live streams and a few other avenues, you know, I think being engaged with the exhibitors on a commerce basis was something I wanted to explore and see how we can take what we've been doing on the channel and extrapolate that into a live show. You know, and that was and you were very open to the idea when we were talking about that, and had a few ideas, you know, to bring to this, something that, you know, is, I think, very rare. And you know, this is a very, you know, kind of a cool opportunity. And there are other artists too. I mean, we're not going to talk about the other guests that we've already got pretty close commitments on already, but similar types of experiences are what we expect to be able to create, you know, for the audience. And I think that works really well for artists coming in. If you can kind of line up work ahead of time, that means that you've already made money before you came to the show. There's no risk involved, or you know what the risk is involved when you go there, and a lot of it's kind of already been covered. And for us as collectors, you know that you're going to be walking away with something. That's, which I think is really important. A lot of times we go to shows and I never know what I'm going to pick up. You know, I'm going in there kind of blind, and I just hope to find something, or I hope to get on so-and-so sketch list. And you know, so trying to line up things in advance that you know, we know that each artist can get done prior to the show and deliver at the show, I think is a really important component of what I want to do through the show that I can't name it yet either, because we have a couple marketing things we're still working out. But I hope to have that ironed out in the next week, because there's domain names and a few other things.
So is AnalCon taken, or is
yeah, we're gonna avoid that. Man. But
that's all I have to do with you tonight. I'm sorry.
But yeah, so that's all. So yeah, I wanted to take a semi-different approach to the show, and you know, I kind of want to play things a little bit by ear. We've secured a wonderful location that really is very unique. I thought about loading up some images of it, but it was tough. Orlando is a very difficult place to secure a space, we found, because they just want to cater to large corporations. And you know, everyone told me, you know, you're filler. You know, if you want 12 to 20,000 square feet, come see us 6 months before your show, and we'll see what we got for you. And of course, that's not going to work. And we finally secured a place, and it probably is the best space that we walked into. It's Windowed walls 30 feet high on the east and west side. So natural lighting, exactly what you'd want for an art show.
Right.
And I didn't get that vibe in any other place we went. Everything was all walled off and had no natural lighting. And so I kind of feel lucky that the only place that would take me this far in advance.
Yeah, no, I'm glad, man. I mean, being the first show of AnalCon, I hope the rear door is very wide and get a lot of things through at once. All right, I'm going to stop now.
Yeah, that's all right. That's all right. I mean, you're breathing levity into this, so I appreciate that. But yeah, so the thing was, and then after we found it, it was like just a matter of we had a few interesting things going on. I had picked the first weekend in February. We hadn't signed the deal yet. The day before MegaCon, I got a call from our venue saying we got to move you a week earlier because Bayer Pharmaceutical wants the whole hotel for a week. And at first I was kind of mad, and then I was like, whatever. It's still close to the anniversary of CAF. But when I went to MegaCon, the first thing they told me was they're moving their show to the first weekend in February. So I would have been screwed if I had signed the agreement and then gotten stuck with that first weekend in February. But the good thing is that, while people look at it and probably say, wow, 2 shows back to back, that might not be a good thing. It actually, I think it's going to prove to be very beneficial to both shows. And I had a long conversation with someone at MegaCon today just about how we can work together to, bring in more guests. Actually, I think that'll complement both shows. And, at the end of the day, our show is going to be populated by primarily art collectors and only. And then when you go over there, you're going to have the whole gamut of people who want, signed books to remarks to what, to original art too. And by and large, that show is huge now. I think they had 160,000 people there.
Yeah, we were at MegaCon and we were at Chicago, which is usually like a top 5 show for us, or top 3 show. And we still made the money that we thought we'd make, but there was something missing in the air. And then I heard that MegaCon, the crazy guest list that they had, it looked like they were blowing Chicago away. So I was probably about to come to Orlando anyway, and you just gave me a good excuse.
Exactly.
You can start working with Mega. I mean, I don't know what the benefit is with pairing with them, but if there was like the first 3 days of the show were MegaCon, and then the cool people hung around after to go to the real show, which was CAFCOM or whatever we end up calling it.
We can call it CAFCON temporarily, but ours will be first and then the other one. But that's when I was planning the show, though, I always felt like the pitch was going to be I wanted people to take a 3 or 4 day vacation, as part of the show, whether it was before or after the show. And now it's kind of like pre-built into it. You can do our show, then you get 3 days off, and then you roll into that. And when I was talking with them today, what the heck is it that they're hosting? They're hosting the what is that, Publisher Summit?
Diamond.
The Diamond Publisher Summit is Tuesday and Wednesday, hosted by MegaCon in Orlando. So, I mean, there's, you're already going to have a lot of artists that are interested in being there just for that, and as well as publishers like IDW and everything. So it almost couldn't be better to have, having the 2 shows, that in the middle. Again, it's the synergy might be really better than I could have expected.
So, Bill, what are you looking forward to most that weekend? Is it walking in and seeing your vision? Is it going to the bar at night and kicking back and chatting and feeling like a family? Is it counting your money at the end? Like, what's the high point of the
I do hope there's money at the end of that. Yeah. Honestly, it's the camaraderie more than anything. I love getting together with friends. And I think that's why I've always been interested in, in making events. Because usually, and I've told people this, by my nature, I'm an introvert. And I really had to create events in order to kind of get myself out of my shell and be more outgoing. And so really just being able to create an event that my friends and, compatriots in the hobby enjoy and walk away with, with a great experience is really what I'm looking for. So I probably won't be happy until the show's over and I get high-fived by most people on their way out the door. But But yeah, that's really what I'm looking for, and really just, again, I think creating, being light on my feet, knowing we're finding other opportunities and things that we can do for future shows that make them more exciting. And I think other shows are kind of catching on. A few shows are catering a bit more to artists, and I think that doing a show like this might be kind of help a few other shows realize that you shouldn't have abandoned Artist Alley, in the last 10 or 15 years, and maybe you need to rethink your business model. I mean,
Yeah.
not that it would hurt us, but I think that putting artists first, and I think it's an important thing, and so nothing will please me more to see everybody walk away with a successful show. The portfolios lined with art, and your wallets and bank accounts and lined with more money.
What if you're so successful that you have like friends of mine, Scott Snyder, other big writers who like demand to come? Are you going to say no, this isn't for you, or are you going to let them come anyway? Or
I was actually asked about writers recently, and I said, well, initially, I'm really not thinking about writers, but honestly, if an artist is there and they're and there's a writer that they're currently working on, by all means, I want them there. And but my initial, my focus really is on the artist first. But no, I mean, if a writer wanted to walk through the door, if Millar wanted to come to the show, he's got a exhibitor badge and a free table. So
right.
Tom King can draw. I see somebody said, that is very true. But no, I mean, so, but initially, but no, there won't be comic vendors. There won't be T-shirt salesmen. The Funko Pop will not be seen in the hallway in any way, shape, or form. That we do have 20,000 square feet, and it's kind of it's a pretty cool space where we're going to be able to divvy it up into some VIP spots for meet and greets and those sorts of things, and we have space to grow because there's really another 20,000 square feet attached to the facility that we're not going to use. So we've got and we won't be locked into this place forever, but I think it's it's a really great place to start.
Yeah. No, I think, are we going to have like private events within the show too? Like I mentioned, being open to doing a meet and greet or a bar thing or some cocktail hour or stuff like that. What kind of what sort of little things do you have going on at this event?
The Friday before the event, so that Friday evening, we have a reception, and it'll be kind of a CAF birthday party as well, but it'll be a kickoff for the event. All the exhibitors are invited to attend. We will have, the opportunity for, weekend attendees to kind of level up and be able to go to that event as well. It's, as long as the weather's good, it's in a beautiful courtyard full of palm trees and fire pits, and there'll be cash bars there, but we'll be covering the food for it. So there'll be that. And then as far as meet and greets go, absolutely, that's kind of what the divvying up the space with a few of the smaller rooms for the meet and greets will be for. I would envision with what you're going to be doing that hopefully you might want to be able to take over, be able to use a room for an hour to kind of give out the commissions that you're working on, and if you want to have food and drink in there, that's available too. And we did talk with the hotel about that, if we wanted to have breakfast or a lunch or a special meal or something brought into any of the VIP rooms that we'll have set up. That it sounds VIP rooms, now it sounds like a strip club, doesn't it?
Sounds like well, it's already Anal Con.
Yes, you got it. Wow, I walked right into that one.
Someone mentioned Mega Cox in the chat.
No, that was Marcus has suggested that in the chat a few times.
That's good too.
CoxCon.
But I will say that we are going to have an art auction on Saturday, and with that we will with most of the art guests that we have, we'd like each artist to contribute one piece to it. We'll be splitting the revenue from the auction piece with the artist. So that'll help us cover some of the travel expenses and whatnot, and and so hopefully being a piece that's going to give money back to the artist, it'll be a better piece that they might create for it. During that, we actually have a meal, sort of a meal, like it might be pizza, but we plan to feed people during the auction, and also have a cash bar at the same time.
Right.
So I think it's going to be, and the thing is, this hotel is 15 minutes from City Walk at Universal. So if somebody's really bored at 9 or 10 o'clock and they can't go to sleep, they can do a 15-minute walk across the street or a 1-minute Uber, and they're right in the heart of City Walk in front of Universal Studios. They can party until whatever time they want.
Sounds good. This isn't going to turn into a fire fest, is it?
Boy, yeah. I'm not paying attention to the chat right now. I see all the
There's some pretty good comments in the chat. I think these guys should be writing comments.
The mega moniker I see.
So we're I'm happy to donate a piece I don't know if we want to get into what I'm contributing to this, Jeff.
I'm happy to, if Bill wants me to dive into it.
Yeah,
yeah.
well, we should, right. Well, that's what we had. We teased everybody about the special opportunity that you guys, and I didn't ask for this. You guys just said this is something that you wanted to do, and I was really kind of blown away by it because I know it's not something that you do too often.
No,
very, very rare. And I mean, you guys. So Jeff, I'll let you speak to the opportunity, and we'll let everybody know. I've got some slides to kind of hit the high points on it as well, and what you need to do to take advantage of this opportunity as well.
So, Jeff, how many times a year do you get people asking you if your boss takes commissions?
So at shows, it's usually anywhere from a few to a dozen times, despite all the signs saying at the bottom, Sean's not taking commissions. But you do remarks, which helps at shows. Online, every time a show is announced, I probably get a dozen requests for commissions, and it actually says right over the contact us box, Sean is not taking commissions. Please don't submit requests. And then they submit a request for commission. So.
But we're doing this first time ever. We're opening up a big commission list. Do you want to talk about that?
Yeah, for sure. So we're going to have a limited number of commissions. We put this together when we were talking with Bill about the CAF event in 2024. The last commission spot we opened, we had one. Sean had a little bit of time, and end of 2021, we did an eBay spot, and it closed just above 12,000. So a lot of interest, to say the least. So here are the details for anybody who might be interested in commissioning Sean. We are going to do a limited number of commission spots for this event. Each piece is going to be penciled and inked. Sean's going to do his cover size now. He does 8.25 by 12.5 inches on 11 by 17 Bristol. So if you look at the covers that he's done anytime in the past, I would say year or so, year and a half, they're all at that size, kind of in the center of a Bristol page. You can request 1 to 2 characters. Sean will draw whatever you request, but he has kind of a preferred list. X-Men, especially the 90s era designs. He loves those. Star Wars, like Mandalorian, Andor. They've been doing some great work. Cars, Mad Max, Knight Rider, Back to the Future, those sorts of things, because Sean loves his cars. Popular movies, hit movies, and Batman, of course. Always get requests for those. So that's kind of the first part of it. You can include a vehicle in a request if you want. In addition to your characters, that's certainly okay. He loves drawing vehicles. Gives him more to draw and to chew on. Pieces will have full backgrounds. And you can give Sean a general theme or concept that you want in the commission. Certainly, we don't art direct him. He knows what he's doing. But he will share a sketch layout of what he's thinking of before he moves on to pencils and ink. So you'd have a chance to give approval if you like the direction he's going. And each commission will be priced at $10,000. So.
Yeah, I'm excited. I'm happy to draw. I mean, that price, I'll draw whatever people want. And I'm happy to do like a pre-sketch, like run it by the buyer to make sure it's in line with my policy is everyone walks away happy. How many of these are we taking, Jeff? Is it 10 or 8?
We're going to do 8 is what we're opening up. And to Grand Admiral's point there, if Sean is tasked to draw Thrawn, I can let him draw. I can lend him some books and comics. I have plenty of Thrawn. I also have a Thrawn bust, actually, as part of my nerd regalia. I have a Thrawn bust. So if he needs photo ref,
where was it again? You can show it. You can show that one more time.
Yeah, I have plenty of nerd ref if he needs anything they could request that's mainstream. Probably, Sean, I have in this room that I could give you physical things that you could use as
the one thing we didn't mention yet is I'm giving Bill 10% of all the money that we're making to help fuel the show, and whoever buys one of these commissions gets a free invite to the show itself for a private event, like a Sean Murphy cocktail hour or something like that. So you commission me now, I'll draw them before next year, obviously. And you come to the show, you pick up your piece, we hang out, we have some drinks, you meet some other folks who are into the same weird habit that you're into, buying comic book art and not hanging out with your wife. But yeah, I think it's worth it. Like I'm backing Bill in this. I think my thinking is if I ever do a gallery showing, normally they charge 40% sometimes. So
it's true.
Giving Bill a commission rate for me is a bargain, especially if I can meet more people, have a good time, and grow my network at all. Yeah, I'm also hoping that when people come to the show, they maybe bring some original art with them. 'Cause part of the fun is showing off some of your marquee pieces. I know the traveling with that stuff is like a risk or whatever, but I would love to see. I love seeing people's collections. Like people who buy my stuff, I'd like to see what else they're buying, and I don't know, maybe some trading will go on during the shows or something like that.
And Bill, I did see some questions in the chat that I have answers to. So some of the specifics, as people are chatting them in, I think I know what you're going to ask. Payments will work. We're going to do $1,000 non-refundable deposit to hold your spot. So after I go through the details, you can email me. The remaining balance will be due within 48 hours of when the piece is complete. That's going to be sometime May through December of this year. So if you sign up, have $1,000 ready to go to hold your spot, and then the rest of it for when the piece is done. We prefer that buyers be at the event in Orlando, January 27th and 28th, 2024, to pick up the art. If you cannot attend, because we know we're going to get this question, and you want it shipped, there's $1,000 added buyer's premium to cover shipping. And we're also going to give most of that to Bill to subsidize the event to make this thing happen if you're not actually going to be there, because we still want him to have the support. So the cost for a mail away commission is $11,000 if you're not going to be there. So that kind of incentivizes you to go to the show. Another question, tickets to the event, airfare, hotel are not included in the commission cost. It's just for the art itself. And you can pay by wire, PayPal. And if you use PayPal, we just do 3% to cover fees. And it's a first emailed, first claim basis. So if any of you want a spot, email me at sgmartsales@gmail.com. So you can see that on the screen there. It's SGM Art Sales. We couldn't get SM Art Sales because that spells smart sales. So someone already grabbed that years ago, which kind of makes sense because that one would be pretty obvious. What I'm going to do is I'll review everyone's emails. I'm sure they're flooding in right now. I'll check the inbox. Let me know if you want to do in-person pickup or mail, and then I'll get back to you and let you know payment info.
Yeah, the point is we love people to come and pick up their commissions in person, which is why there's the extra fee. And this fee is not for me, Jeff. It's just for Bill to help subsidize his new venture here. Yeah, I'm excited. And at first, when I gave Jeff that list, he thought I was saying I'll only draw Batman, X-Men, and Knight Rider. And I was like, no. I just sometimes when people commission something, they're not really sure what to ask for. And if you give them a list of things you're interested in, especially if it has a car, sometimes it inspires them to like think of something really unique. I will say, like, I know 10K is a lot. That's a little bit below where our cover prices go these days. If you do get something Batman related, there's like a 9 out of 10 chance that will be used as either a print by us to sell or a cover for DC. So I tend for these to be cover quality commissions. Again, everyone walks away happy. If you do pick a Batman thing, there's a chance DC will just buy it. So you've sort of bought a cover at a reasonably good price, all things considered. So I just want everyone to feel safe about their investment. And, I know 10's a lot, but it's going to a good cause, which is Bill's stripper and cocaine habit.
I'm not going to use the word VIP ever again.
And Sean, the commissions that have been turned into covers, if you sell a cover as a cover, they'll sell for $12,000, $15,000, $25,000. You get a commission and it's turned into a cover. You kind of pre-bought, which is, we can't guarantee it will be a cover, but they've used most of Sean's Batman commissions from the past as covers. So, it's not a guarantee, but it's certainly possible.
I almost don't want to tell people that because then they're just going to want to buy I'm going to get 10 Batman requests. And I'd like to draw something different if I can. Maybe if it's like an X-Men request, someday it'll be my first published X-Men cover or something like that.
Right.
And it looks like we do have enough people to fill the list in the inbox, but keep emailing in case you're interested, because we're going to do a wait list. And the reason why we're doing that is in case somebody can't come up with $1,000 or they change their mind or whatever it is. So we're going to do a wait list as well. So do email. I see we've got a lot of messages in the inbox.
Nice.
So after we sign off,
that $8,000 I give you, Bill, what are you going to do with that?
It's going right back into the show, man. One way or another.
In every room, Sean.
But the thing is that just so everybody knows, we're announcing this now because we want the artists to have the time to get the work done. This will not be the last announcement. There will be several more like this, and they will all give the artists plenty of time to get the work done, because that's what that's really important to us and them as well, to support the show and to make the show just really, we want it to be the go-to event every year for both artists and art collectors. And I think that we can achieve that, and especially working closely with those exhibitors who want to take part in the show. And I think that that's what's going to make it a really welcoming show to be at, regardless of VIP rooms or not. And again, it's just going to. That's really what I'm excited about. I want to see everybody just being. I want everybody to high five me walking out the door on Sunday. And we're going to keep it to hours of 10 to 5 each day. So we're not going to force people to be in the hall for long periods of time. And the great thing is this place has the softest carpeted floor I have ever been in. So it's not a concrete floor that you're walking on, tiles or nothing. It's carpeted, it's comfortable, and it's beautiful. So, I mean, it's really an experience unlike anything that I think you're going to get anywhere here in the States. So
it's funny how much carpet matters at these shows.
It's true. It really is true.
We hired a new assistant for Chicago, and he wore Vans, just like basic Converse, like no padding at all,
on a concrete floor for 10 hours.
3 days of standing on the concrete. You could tell his back was starting to hurt. It's like rookie mistake.
Running shoes.
That first year I went to San Diego, I think it was 2003, and the guy that went with me wore flip-flops.
Oh boy,
his feet were blistered. He couldn't walk by probably the second day. And I'm like, what? You're a dummy. You came from Texas and all you brought were flip-flops.
Yeah.
So,
I remember the DC booth used to be very cushiony. It was almost like they were sponsored by Tempur-Pedic or something. And this is before I was really published. I would just hang out at the DC booth just to relax my feet and back. And people would be like, "Oh, can I help you with something?" I'm like, "No, just catching my breath."
Wow. That's how we got work.
This is how you know you're getting older, when you appreciate a nice soft carpet.
I just came for a good sit.
But Bill, I'm curious, with the nature with the community you build here, do you think people that go to the show, what percent do you think are there for to be part of the family? How many are there to get a bargain? Or they're there hawking?
They're just I mean, good
art.
I mean, how big is the family? I don't know. I'm hoping. I would expect 20% are there because of they're true fans of the camaraderie that we've built in here, and then an 80% because you figure CAF doesn't represent more than 10% of the hobby in its own weird way, right? As far as the number of collectors that are out there, there's so many more. So I think a lot of people don't understand. I think one of the best parts of the hobby is just the friends that you make, because usually they have your back. They help you find stuff when they don't want to buy it. They're happy to let you know that there's something else available out there. Yeah. It's those friendships that you make in the hobby that really make ours very special. You don't have that in comic book collecting really, or statue collecting. Art collecting, it's really, really unique. And so, but right now I'd say probably 20%, but hopefully that changes. When you bring 300 or 400 art collectors in a room, I mean, there's going to be a lot of people who are meeting people for the first time that they've been emailing with for 20 years. And I think that will really, evolve friendships. And that's really what, having an in-person event really is all about, I think. And, establishing that connectivity with everybody. But just to even further emphasize the ease of getting, literally you come down the elevator because there's 2 towers, and the tower that we're in, so they're going to put us right next to the convention center. You literally get out of the elevator, turn to your left, and 30 paces, you're inside the convention hall. So nice. You are not gonna, you're not walking all over the place. It's not like going to San Diego or anywhere. You're pretty much right there. And I think everybody's going to really appreciate that.
Right. What are you most nervous about during this event, Bill?
Winter storms.
Okay.
Weather. That might be that's probably the reason why con season starts in April, right? Or late March or whatever. But I think for a lot of the guests, we'll probably be encouraging people to come in early Friday, late Thursday, especially if they're coming in from overseas. And so I'd like to think that the buffer there is enough. And if they're planning on staying later for MegaCon, to make that a part of the overall, business trip that they're doing, or for fun if they're a collector, I think that, I think it's going to work out one way or another. So even if they get there on Sunday, I'd like to think that that wouldn't be bad. But that's the only thing I fear is a natural disaster.
Right. Do you think that this first year will be, people talk about the first year of San Diego and how they were there before it got big, and they reminisce about, being the first mover advantage is what we call it in business, right? I wonder, like, I hope this goes over big and then word of mouth takes off. And then next year, my friends are calling me like, hey, how do I get an invite to MegaCox? And I could be like, oh, Jock, come here, Ralph Albuquerque, whatever. Like, if I can bring my friends to a show and it's not about signing issues or, writers announcing their next book, it's just about the art. I feel like that vibe it's such a more relaxed European, sit back with your wine and relax type of vibe, that I hope that this is like the beginning of like the convention everyone wants to go to. Yeah. I hope that's
I do too. Yeah. That's what we wanted. I mean, I want it to be a show that the artists want to go to because of the guests that we're going to have, that you're going to be meeting some people that you don't normally get to hang out with. And we're working on that. And, I think you're one. I think that's going to be good. But I think that, and all right, I see Jeffrey keeps asking. Yes, it's the 27th and 28th of January, 2024. The reception will be on the night of the 26th. So I thought I typed that in earlier, but
do you know, I have a request from a friend. Her name is Tabetta Darling. She works for Heritage.
Yeah.
And she wants to come and maybe help host something. And I said, be good to have a lady on stage so it's not such a sausage fest. So I told her I would pressure you live in front of everybody.
All right. Yes. Well, get me her contact information.
I will do that.
Work that out. Heritage is, I've been talking to the auction houses. I think that they'll probably be represented to be at the show. I mean, because they're always looking for consignments. I think for me, I know that, we're talking to you as an artist, but I think that what we're going to see, because I saw this when I did a show in Columbus in August, was that, a lot of times, the collectors are going to trade back and forth. They're going to be opening their portfolios and looking at another, guys are going to be bringing stuff to sell and trade. And so there's going to be a lot of commerce in the room. It's not just buying from artists. I think that it's going to be, I think collectors are going to have to go because they're going to be afraid that Jason D'Ambrosia is going to bring some really great X-Men art that he wants to unload at the show, because next year he wants to get a $10,000 commission from you. And nobody's going to want to miss out on what Jason's decided to sell. See, Jason, I wasn't ignoring you in the chat. I know you've been saying things over and over there, but that's what it is back to FOMO, because if you don't go, you don't know what you're going to miss out on. And I think that the show is going to have a lot of that.
Yeah.
But I think that's great. I went to MegaCon. There was none of that there. It was cool getting to see all my friends that were at the show, but you don't have that. Didn't feel like I was missing out on anything by being there. I mean, a couple people I talked to, which was cool, but I could have done that via email. But this show, I think there will be a lot of things that you miss out on, and some of it like this pre-con opportunity. But if you don't go, you don't know what you're going to be missing out on. And I think that's great. It's a vibe that you just don't really get with shows today.
Yeah, I would love to do if you want a panel where it's just me interviewing a bunch of artists and talking about art related things, about technique, like stuff that we normally don't get to talk about. Is if I'm on stage with Raphael Albuquerque, he and I think a lot of the same things about how to use a brush, but we never get to say them because mostly it's Scott Snyder talking about Batman. I'm not sure I suppose with an audience like this, talk about technique and why we set up pages a certain way. It might be interesting to describe the behind the process thinking of the people that are selling you these pages, because I don't know of a convention that really allows for that kind of conversation to happen, and that'd be so fun to do. I'd also love to, sorry to throw ideas at you live.
No, please.
When I meet a collector, and he has a piece that's really hard to get, and I'm like, man, how did you get your hands on this? He'll tell me this crazy story, and I almost wish there was an Eisner Award for the best story of someone obtaining a piece of rare art. And I know a lot of collectors don't like to talk about how they go about getting things because it gives away their secrets, but I'd love to see if collectors could write in their craziest art acquiring story and we give away some t-shirt. I don't even know what it is.
I get it. Well, we do a best of award every year, and it's in early February because it's always like the best acquired artwork from the year before. Okay. But we've been working in additional awards that go along with it. I mean, but not like that, but similar. We have an esoteric award or two that are a part of that. But But
think
yeah,
the Bill
without
Cox
question.
Award. It's a mini golf sort of. It has nothing to do with comics. It looks like a mini golf. Do you have one right there?
I've got one right here. It's a Thor,
Okay, so
a Thor hammer, and it says CAF 2022 on it.
So you're the
this one's glued
Eisner.
down.
You're the Eisner. You're the namesake behind this new award that goes to the most ambitious collector that somehow managed to claw his way into some private collection and come out with the greatest holy grail.
I like that idea. I actually do like that idea.
And
we would have to have a committee that would have to like weigh which story is the most worthy. But yeah, no, I do. I love that. And that's we've talked about that because I've wanted to take the awards that we've been doing, because the best of we've had for 15 years, and it's kind of been something that grew out of something else from a different site, and then we took it over and have run with it. But we've always wanted to expand it into other areas to make it on par with, the Eisners or or the Ringo Awards, right, in Baltimore.
The biggest Cox Award. That's fucking funny.
Oh boy, Chris North. Yeah, Chris, you might not be on the show later tonight. Chris, he helps me do some art discussion at the end of every Thursday show. You just watch it, buddy. Put down the
whatever
beer.
He's getting paid, it's not enough because he's doing commentary for free.
Exactly. Wow. Anyway, yeah. Just keep talking, Sean. You're getting me into all kinds of.
I love it. Oh man, so how many artists do you want to have this first year? Like, I know we can't name names because I threw a bunch at you.
Well, I'm working with a couple people on the lists, and when we did a first pass of people that we wanted at the show that maybe weren't like. There's a lot of people we feel like we can get to the show, but we had a list of 70, and I don't think we'll get 70, obviously. But that was like when we made our list, that was kind of what was on it as a these are the hopefuls. Maybe 20 of them were like, wow, that's a dream. Then the other 50 might have been they're obtainable, but maybe not.
Yeah.
But what would I total in the room, at least right now, I'm thinking, between 60 and around 60 to 70 would be nice. But we're really going to gauge it based on ticket sales too, because we will open that up early as well, because that's just, we're funding a brand new project here. So it needs it. So we'll be able to gauge that number of artists based on the number of ticket sales to it. Cause I want to keep the ratio low. I'm not worried about getting 1,000 people through the door. I want to make sure that everybody that comes in has a great experience. And so we kind of have what we feel is our sweet spot. And and so, but hopefully, say by August, we've sold a fair number of tickets, and we've already got a lot of commitments from artists. That still gives us time to be a little flexible about inviting a few more guests or opening a few more tables. The thing is, we have 20,000 square feet. We really can fit a couple thousand people in this room if we really wanted to, but that's not really the goal. I mean, we want a portion of the room will be set aside for round tables, because we want collectors to be able to sit around and BS and pass portfolios across. And that same space will be where the auction will be held on Saturday. So it's kind of a multi-purpose space just for that. And it could be used for panels as well. But we have rooms that we can really kind of close off and do that in. But right in the heart of the room will be a spot for people to kind of sit down and BS and that's what worked really well. When I did the thing in Columbus, I specifically just set up 3x6 tables around the outside of the room, and I put 4 round tables in the center. And there was more action on the round tables than anything. And that included, like, the dealers would just walk over to the round tables and be like, is that for sale? And so it was a really interesting dynamic. And so I want to make sure that we keep that kind of feel going through this as well.
For sure. It's funny. I've done a few events with my buyers. I had one with my Indiegogo where people could pay to hang out in Maine. I had 10 people fly up to Maine, and I gave them a tour of my studio. I had drinks and cheese or whatever. We went out to dinner after. I paid for everything. I mean, they paid to get there, but then I gave them some of that money back to take them to eat. But it sounds like I'm pandering, but I really love meeting my normie collectors, because one guy's a lawyer, one guy's a prison guard, one guy brought his wife and she has no idea who I am, which is great. It's just interesting to see like who is into this, because normally it shows I'm talking to creative people, and I love creative people, but they say a lot of the same thing. But when I'm talking to a buyer, it's like, I don't know who this guy is, what he does for a living, what his politics are. And I just find it like fascinating. One of my buyers owns like a giant scope company for guns.
Mm.
And chatting with him was amazing.
Very interesting guy.
Someone I never run into, and he's like, "Oh, we don't make guns, but we make scopes." So it's like it's a little bit liberal. I'm like, is it though? But I love these conversations. I think they're fantastic. So yeah.
And I saw Chuck Arnold mention would we have a side room for an art show, and that is actually one of the things that I'm talking with somebody about. You know, somebody who wanted to show off a set of their work, and I thought, well, this might be the way to do it. You know, we could actually have one of these, because the side breakout rooms that we can create, you know, they pull the walls out and everything. They're like 20 by 30. So it's really good for a private meet and greet or a small gallery. And so we're really, you know, that's part of the plan. It really is.
That'd be great. I'd be in there too. Just looking at what people have. Is there a prize? Another Bill Cox, Mega Cox Award for best gallery?
Not yet. But you're giving me ideas, though. You're really giving me.
I will not let you fail, Bill. I'm gonna make you wealthy with this idea. Won't be happy until you're a millionaire.
That's all right. Hey, man, I appreciate that. I need more people thinking that way. You know, I mean, at the end of the day, I need everybody's buy-in to this. And I think, you know, again, it's kind of a no-brainer at the end of the day. Orlando is one of the cheapest places you can travel to in the US, probably after Vegas. You know, it is kind of a peak tourism time. I think February is peak tourism time down here in Florida because of people wanting to get out in the winter. But still, it's, you know, it's the reason MegaCon changed their date from April 1st to February 1st, because they wanted to kind of capitalize on people who want to take vacations. So at least that's what they told me. So it's kind of the same idea. I mean, it's the timing's good, but anyway, I mean, I'm very happy to have both of your support in this endeavor. And you know, again, it was great being, you know, again, I went to you guys. You were the first people I talked to, and it was just really, it was reassuring when you guys were all in on it, more than I would have.
1,000%. I'm very enthusiastic about this idea. I think it'll grow. I think that, I mean, with the again, I hate to keep repeating myself, but just the community you built around the original art market, and thinking of this as small investments. And I just think it's so fun, and there's always the next challenge, the next acquisition. I think the nature is everyone here is a hunter, and you're sort of like looking for the story that gets you to the next thing. And why not get these people in a room? Like when I was talking before about hanging out with my buyers, going to a show where it's just buyers and it's just designed to do that just sounds fantastic to me. Like I'm probably your most enthusiastic person there. I don't care. I don't own any of the show. I'm just a fan. And if I have to be on stage with a microphone, fine. I'm just there to like meet normies and get their stories and just see what kind of art shows up. I hope people bring their shit. Someone in the gallery said they were going to bring some Topi. Man, I'd love that. I mean, I'd happily do a trade. If you got any like Stephen Platt Prophet art or Jorge Zafino, or I've got a few Achilles heels as far as trades go. Is there any pieces that you're on the hunt for now, Nick? And then Bill, and then you too, Jeff.
For me, I'm always on the hunt for stuff. You know,
like what's been occupying your brain lately? Like, I got to get this piece.
Well, I really have always wanted a Sienkiewicz piece. Typically, you know, something New Mutants-ish would be nice.
Yeah,
I haven't really. Well, every time I see something nice, it always goes for a lot more than I think it should, unfortunately.
Nice.
But that's
I had a page of that. I got it from Albert Moy. Okay. Do we still have that, Jeff, or did we sell that?
I think you got the Sienkiewicz.
Oh, I have it. Oh, Bill, you and I should talk.
I think you got two. I think you got the Sienkiewicz and Toth.
Yeah, well, Burn X-Men, Colin. See, everybody's saying it for me. I love Bill Willingham artwork, but if I could get some interiors, that would be good. But I really want something from his TSR days, but that's not something that will probably ever turn up anymore. But no, I mean, I've been wanting a great Russ Heath war page, Joe Kubert Hawkman page. I mean, you name it. I mean, I've got a lot of wants and just not enough money usually. Or the thing is, you know, that like we've always seen. I mean, a lot of this stuff is going for really, you know, prime prices these days, and it's just tough. But I want to have good examples from every artist that I've admired over the years, and that's kind of been my goal. I don't really have a great John Buscema piece. I've got 3 or 4 Sal pieces, but nothing nothing to write home about from John yet. So yeah, there's a lot of wants out there, but slowly but surely I'll get them.
Yeah. What about you, Jeff? What do you on the hunt for these days besides more Hellboy commissions?
Some of those on the way. I'd have to say I'd love to have a Travis Charest page, but one just closed, I think, on Comic Link or Heritage or something for like $14,000.
That was
so I don't think
X-Men.
I don't think that's going to happen. It was from Golden Age.
But Jeff also is looking for a Art Adams long shot page.
I might have an Arthur Adams long shot page that came up on Comic Link and I nabbed it.
You did? You got it recently?
I did.
When
congratulations.
It was, last year, I think.
Oh, why didn't you tell me?
I think I showed you a picture of it. It's funny because it's got the corners cropped and it's very of the time. And I think I showed a picture of it at New York Comic Con to Arthur, and he's like, "Oh, that page. It's the one with butterflies on it." And
nice.
It lands on his hand.
Yeah.
Cool page. It was not super expensive relative to the splash pages because there were other ones going for 4, 5, 6, 7,000 that were splashy. So nice. I'm fine with any Arthur Adams page.
So I am going to bid. I'm telling this so everyone backs off this piece for me because I apparently I know it's not going to work. I really want the Bill Watterson piece that's on Heritage. I know that's going to go for maybe 120, 140. And I've talked to my accountant. I've cleared out the cash. I don't know how much higher I can go, but I am really hoping to get that piece and then put it in a children's museum here in Maine just to say that Maine has a Bill Watterson piece. Like, oh, wow. I'd love to get that, but I don't know. I feel like I've got like a 5% chance. Some like Saudi prince is going to outbid me probably.
Those are tough when they come up, and that I know the piece. That's a great one. Have you seen Watterson pieces in person?
Yeah, I was in France, and they had a gallery of his stuff before.
Oh, wow!
I know most of it's like locked up with some museum.
The Billy Ireland Museum is in Columbus. Okay. That was why I did that trip there, was to actually see the Watterson art.
Nice.
Yeah.
There's only like a handful of pieces that ever hit the market, so in my brain, I'm like, Calvin and Hobbes eventually is going to go away. Is it peak Calvin and Hobbes now? Because it's insane that it's 30 years later, people are still hot for it, which is great. But if I sold it in 10 years, am I going to lose money? And then I started thinking about Charles Schulz. And I thought, well, is Peanuts art as valuable as it used to be? I have no idea, but I'm guessing there's more Peanuts art available out there. Again, I don't know.
Yeah, that was an interesting one because about 10 or 15 years ago, the museum was buying it all, and they were pushing the prices up probably higher than they should have been because they were all in. And so I'd say the prices leveled off, maybe dropped a little bit, but they definitely stabilized. But there was a point but that was an odd occurrence, right? When somebody was just out there to buy it all back. Yeah. With Peanuts artwork, but no, they still command. Sundays still pretty solid, and anywhere between $40,000 to $60,000 range, and the dailies, depending on the time period, could it be any? It's like 15 to 35. Yeah. So they hold their value, and I'd like to think. I mean, again, I think I look at comic art as a American. It's international art form, right? But at the end of the day, it's finally being realized as a fine art form. If it's not going to hold its value, then something's wrong, and I just can't see how it's not going to continue to appreciate long term. Especially, again, as I think the reason we saw what we saw in the last 3 or 4 years is just because people started realizing how important it was. It wasn't just that it was the pandemic and we weren't traveling to cons and we had extra money in our pockets. I think that people started realizing finally that as an art form, it really is important and it really is valuable. And, and there's a lot of other factors that I think played in it too. Whether it's art representation helping drive prices up, which it should, and or art dealers, always gradually wanting to make more off a piece that they brought in. It all just kind of moved it along until it hit this climactic point. 2 years ago, where everything seemed to double within a 3 to 6 month time period. But I don't foresee it ever really taking a dip. I mean, we talked about that in San Diego with Steve, and he was of the other mindset, but it hasn't really changed yet, has it? I mean, it's now 9 months since that.
So far, Bill is right and Steve is wrong
at the moment. I mean, let's hope it stays that way. But but that's I just can't see it. I mean, because I know I say this too. If you buy a piece of art for $10,000, are you going to sell it for $9,000 in 6 months? Hell no. You're going to hold on to it till you can sell it for $10,000. So when people all that could really happen negatively is people don't sell as much. They hold on to things a little bit longer. They're never gonna show their cards and sell something for less than they bought it for, unless they are really desperate to get something else and they're willing to fire sale. And that doesn't change a market.
So it's funny because I have a friend who works at a Comic Link, and there's a lot of people who have their investments tied up in comic collections and collectibles, and they need to sell something every month because they're retired, and they have to sell during a down market sometimes, and they sell during up markets too. But sometimes stuff hits the market that shouldn't hit the market because the buyer has no choice because they just need to pay the bills. And I feel like those are the bargains out there if you know where to look. And that's generally Jeff's good at bargain hunting. Whenever he sees like a Jim Lee page for $600, he's like, "Don't tell anybody about it." But I think I
might have just won one for 400 a few minutes ago.
See, he's addicted.
Oh,
Bill, Jeff's your customer, not me.
That's awesome. I wish I don't get to be a buyer as much as I wish I had time to. I don't get to look as much as I look around. I throw bids in here or there, but I don't get to really participate as seriously as I'd like to. One day. But that's all right. I get to see it all, and I've been helping artists sell artwork a lot now. I used to not handle like the whole transaction. Right now it's like I did a sale with Mike Oming over last weekend, and all the art was sent to me. We sold half of it. I handled all the invoicing and packing and shipping it out. But it's cool because now I get to see artwork. Now I kind of get to feel what you cool reps, Jeff, what you've been doing for years, getting to handle all that great art. Now I actually get to see it finally and send it to its next home. That's pretty cool, because it's something I never have been able to do in 20 years of the hobby. I've been facilitating sales for all this time. I mean, on the channel, just on the comic art, this format, we've sold almost $5 million in the last 26 months, and really up until the last month I never got to see never got to see the art in hand, and I was just this middleman, and so it's kind of cool.
Hey, Jeff, where do you think most art dealers go wrong? Because I hear a lot of people complain, like, I want to buy this guy's art, but I don't like his art dealer. And art dealers are like the wall that has to be overcome, but sometimes they're ruder than they need to be, or they play favorites. Like, sorry to throw this at you, but what do you think most art dealers do wrong?
I think there's a couple. There's things that are related to them and things that are related to the sales. I think the things related to them is sometimes some reps, very few, but some think they are the talent, and they're not. They're just a facilitator for the sale, and you need to go into it with no ego. I think that's the only way to be effective. Not be upset if someone thinks your prices are too high, too low, they balk on a sale, whatever. Doesn't matter. Don't take offense at it ever. And I think having been in sales for 25 years and banking, I think you have a very hard shell that develops around you. Like, that's okay. There's someone else that's perfectly fine. So I think you have to have a certain amount of tact, and some people get into it just because they were fans and they don't have that background. So that's kind of the personal side of it. I think the other side of it is the pricing side of it and just the sales side of it. They think, oh, well, I think this piece is worth, $12,000, $15,000, whatever. And they put a price tag and it just sits there and sits there and sits there. And I think they don't go to the artist and say, how much stock do you have? How quickly do you want to sell it? What's the market doing right now? Would you rather hang on to it if you can't get 10 or 12? If it's worth right now 6 or 8,000, would you sell it for that, or would you rather keep it? And I think the problem with it is a lot of reps, it's not their fault. It's their primary income. So one of the things that Sean knows very well is he has the advantage of, it's a sideline gig for me. It's not my main source of income. So if he wants to hang on to 16 out of 24 pages from an issue, he can hang on to 16 pages. He can hang on to 20 pages and just sell 4. So he has the luxury of kind of adjusting that because he is not dependent on that income right away. And I'm not dependent on that income right away. So it doesn't put pressure on us to underprice, oversell, flood the market, or get too greedy with prices where we're pricing above the market and the art just sits there for years and doesn't move. So I think it's a problem that's not their fault. I think the reps are, they're trying to pay their bills, and artists are trying to pay their bills. And I think it's easy to do. You see the market's going up, so you try to anticipate it. You put your prices higher. The market dips down, and you put something out that's way above, and it just sits there. And then do you discount art? That's tough to do. It's tough to go back to people and say, oh, sorry. It's not worth 12. It's worth 8. Will you pay 8? Like, it's just not a good look. So I think there's a lot of thought that goes into doing it and doing it well. Most of the people who are still doing it now are very good at that because they're still doing it. If they were bad at that, they wouldn't still be doing it. So most of the market is populated by people who are really good at what they do, which I bought from most of them. I don't know. You're talking about Mark Hay earlier, Bill, and and Court and Felix and Jason and all the others. There's probably not one of them I haven't bought from in the past 10 years. So, they're all doing something right because I buy, and I get not a ton, but I do occasionally buy, and so those are the main things I'd say.
I had a dealer who wasn't my dealer, but I know a dealer who it seemed like the only reason he got into it was because he wanted to be in comics any way he could. And once he got a few big names, he got to he liked to go to dinners and then get drunk and start fucking with people. It's like he wanted to soapbox, and his favorite thing to do was to tell stories about how he would put other artists in their place. And I'm listening to this next morning. I'm like, what, dude, you're not the artist. You're not the celebrity. I would debate whether artist is celebrity anyways, of course, but it's almost like he did it because it gave him an excuse to have a power trip. And I was like, whoa, is that just him, or is that a lot of our dealers? I have no idea what this,
I don't think that's the norm. I don't think that from my experience, that's not the norm.
He once got drunk and was going to go up to Jason Pearson, rest in peace, and start messing with Jason to see if he could get Jason upset. And I was like, do not do that. I'm in the elevator with him. Like, do not go into that lobby and talk to, this was in Heroes. And he was drunk and he just ignored me and just beeline past me, went up to Jason. And I was like, oh my God, man. And I got out of there because I don't even know what happened. But I didn't understand that kind of like self, I don't even know what we call that. But I mean, when I hear people who are buying art, like I have $5,000 I would like to spend, but I don't want to spend it because the guy in the way is a dick. It's like, well, I can't afford to have an art dealer that acts that way because I want your $5,000, or even if it's whatever. I just want to sell you a print. The thing I like about working with Jeff is he doesn't have ego. He's been in business. He's very much you're robotic in your politeness. I don't think there is a way to get you upset, honestly, because I've tried.
You even asked me, we'll be flying and our flight's delayed and things are just falling apart. And Sean's like, do you ever get flustered? It's like, you're being nice to the people in the airport, and this sucks. Our flight's not going to be in. Like, you get more with honey than you do with vinegar. So let me just go see if we can get us on another flight. Or we're talking to concierge about, having our packages dropped off there or something. I'm like, let's hold up. The funniest story, and Sean even references it repeatedly.
I dropped the ball. I was exhausted.
We're trying to get this very nice concierge lady to hold our boxes so FedEx can pick it up the next day because we had some stock to send home. And we're talking to her about how her brother loves, reading comics and everything. And she says, can I tell you a story? And Sean blurts out, is it long? And I was like, shh. We're relying on her kindness to hold these boxes while we fly out so someone can pick them up from FedEx. Just let me handle this. So I opened up a box. I gave her a free sketchbook. It was under the hood at the time. And I gave her one of those remaining books. And I said, here's this for him. He'll enjoy it. If you wouldn't mind just hanging on to these. And I said, Sean later's like, I probably shouldn't ask if it was a long story. I'm like, just let me handle it.
I was so tired. I'm like, just give me my freaking bag.
It was the end of the show. It was a Sunday.
For 3 days straight. I've been fine, and I slipped up, and Jeff's like, shut up, Sean. She's doing us a favor.
It was so funny. It was the funniest thing, and he probably saw the look I gave him, but it was fine. Security held the boxes for a day until FedEx picked them up on the Monday, but that's just, I have a pretty close to inexhaustible supply of patience. Pretty close.
I have a fun, so I see Moy being mentioned in the comments, and I have a quick Moy story, and I'm going to throw him under the bus a little bit, but I like you, Albert, and I look forward to seeing you again. But a couple of years have gone by, so I'm going to tell this story. I was at a show once, and my accountant said, you need to get rid of money before the end of the tax year. Art's a write-off for you, so go buy art. Okay, he gave me a dollar amount. I go up to Moy, and I'm like, I've never really done this before. I'm like, I want to see your art. So I'm buying a Mignola cover and this and that. And I don't know what I spent, like $33K, right? There's a lot. And again, I did this with my wife's assistance because she runs the estate and we need to like get rid of money. Good problem to have. So, oh boy. And again, I'm not starting shit with Moy. I like Moy, but I think this is a funny story. So I racked up 33K and I said, would you take 28? I don't know. I got him down a little bit and he's like, yeah, sure. So, you know, it was good. I've seen Moy at a bunch of shows since then. I went from Palm Springs to LA to pick him up. Like we went to breakfast together and shared a car or whatever. Like we've been drunk together. But he did want to sell me this Toth piece that was a Daddy-O big commission. So it was like DADDO. And inside each letter was a bunch of drawings of car stuff, right? And I was like, how much do you want for this? And he goes, I need 8 for that. And I go, I can't do 8. Like I love Toth, but I don't know how many Toth people are out there anymore. And you've got a Toth piece and a car piece. So I said, Albert, I'm the buyer for this, but I'm not the buyer at 8. I just can't do 8. Can you do 5? And he was like, hard no. And I go, Albert, who do you know that loves Toth, that loves cars, that has that money, who's going to buy this? And I was trying to do my best to like massage it, and like he would not budge. So I'm like, all right. So I walked away. And a few years later, I think he contacted me and said, okay, I'll do 5. And I was like, 4. And he was like, fuck you. I'm paraphrasing it. I might be getting the story like 20% wrong, but I'm telling it so that it makes me look cool. It makes him look not cool. So I see the Toth piece go up on Heritage, and I'm watching now. And I think I pinged Jeff. I'm like, hey, can you watch this piece? Like, I want it to not sell just because fuck you, Albert. So it went for like $3,300. It was like not a lot. So I know he took a dive on that. And part of me, I admit, I could be a small man sometimes. I was like, yeah, that's what you get. And I wanted to track the buyer down, be like, I'll give you 5 for this or set, whatever it is, just to take a picture.
Well, Albert doesn't lose too often, so
yeah,
you know.
But he lied, and I knew when he wouldn't sell to me for 5. I'm like, I'm telling you, it's a mistake, and he didn't listen. And after I spent all that money on him, I thought he would have, but no, he's. I mean,
Albert's
he's
not going to drink with you ever again.
And I consider him a friend. I haven't seen him for a while, but I just enjoy telling that story because, yeah, I don't know. And if you have that Toth Daddy-O piece and you're interested in selling, you can contact me.
You're the buyer for it. Yeah. Yeah, no, I mean, obviously I've known Albert for a long time too, and he's never given me a discount or a break on anything. Yeah, one time I bought something at full price. I'm like, can you throw in free shipping? He's like, no. So, you know, and I'm like, I thought I was your favorite webmaster. No.
Yeah.
So, yeah, no, it's all right. You know, I mean, if we didn't, you know, they're an important part of the ecosystem of our hobby.
100%.
You know, and I know you weren't, you know, but you know, for me, it's like there's certain, you know, you mentioned earlier, it's like sometimes maybe somebody isn't like the best personality that's out there, but they've got art for sale. So we're still, you know, you're always going to deal with them. At the end of the day, we are addicted to the hobby and the art that we love, and you know, personalities be damned. Even, you know, in very rare cases, you know, would you not do a trade with your worst enemy to get something that you want in this hobby? You know, collector to collector, collector to dealer. It's just kind of how it is, and it's small enough that I saw, you know, somebody mentioned in the chat, you know, it's a small enough hobby that, you know, you know when somebody's not telling you the truth, when somebody's telling you that you're the first person I'm showing it to, but you know, your best friend said he showed it to him not an hour before. So, you know, I mean, that's just kind of how this hobby is, but that's what I enjoy about it. I mean, in comics, it's so big, you can't know all the personalities at all levels. And in this hobby, we can, you know, for by and large.
Yeah.
So
to Alpha's credit, he did give me a sync piece, Adam Hughes cover and a Mignola cover, slight discount. So I do appreciate that, but I still had to tell that Toth story because why not? I'm sure people out there have got crazier stories than me. I don't buy a whole lot of original art. I'll mostly trade. Someone asked me my pieces that I have. I think my prime possession is a Jorge Zafino page from Winter World. I've got a Rick Leonardi Spidey 299 piece that I will never part with. And I got it for $40, and I'm sure it's worth way more than that now, but I just, you know, and I walk by it every day on the way to my studio, and I see new things in that line work, Al Williamson's inks and all that. And Yeah, I don't buy a lot, but when I do, I'm very particular about it. Because when I buy something, I've got to justify it to my wife. And like, I guess I've got the clearance to try to buy a Watterson piece, but she likes that stuff too. But most of the stuff I want to buy, she has no idea or doesn't really give a shit.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, honestly, I love my wife, but if you put my art next to Rob Liefeld, she would not know the difference. That's fine.
Well, that is fine at the end of the day. At least she's
Absolutely.
supportive in that way. I mean, that's and again, but that's something, again, this is a hobby that you can actually share with your family. Again,
Yeah.
there's another reason why it's so special. Again, comics, so many other facets to pop culture is not stuff that you'd share with your kids, right? But art,
Right.
shoot, I mean, you can share that with your mom or your grandmother, and they'll still get it. They'll at least not be turned off by it. You hand them a comic book, and they might be like, ugh. But yeah, exactly. So, man, this is not the conversation I thought I was going to have tonight. This has been a lot of fun.
Everything, man.
Exactly. I was just thinking that because remember when we did the last interview, you kind of walked us through a hallway, right, where you had a lot of the art on both sides or something. All right. Yeah, I remember that.
If you're ever in Maine, I got a good. I'll take you out to dinner and stuff.
I would love to. I told you I used to own property in Maine, right? Near
I didn't know it was Maine. I know you were.
Maureen and I bought 48 acres, just about 10 miles north of Belfast. When we first got married, we were going to build a cabin, and that was going to be our thing. And then it never happened. So sold it like 10 years later. But that was the dream. I mean, I love the area. I love Maine. Yeah.
You can still build a cabin pretty cheap in Maine. You don't have to give up that dream.
That is true. It's funny. We took some photos of the property when we only got to walk on it one time, and we still keep those photos out as a reminder that that opportunity still presents itself. Could happen. Yeah, I haven't ruled it out.
Have you ever bought anything too expensive where your wife got pissed off?
No, I can't say that I have, because I mean, I haven't really, but it was funny. We're going to be opening a piece, something from Heritage that my daughter bought with my wife's permission. I didn't really know how much they were going to spend on it, and I told them to spend whatever they wanted on it.
Yeah.
And when it was a little bit more than I thought they were going to spend, but I encouraged them to do it.
Wow,
so even though it's not something, because they've gotten art in different ways, comic art, con sketches, those sorts of things. But this was some anime artwork from the recent international auction that Heritage had. Wow. And my oldest daughter really wanted it. She wanted like 4 pieces and got outbid on 2 of them, but she won two of them. And she spent more than I thought she was going to spend, but I was happy for it. And so we literally got the package like 2 days ago. And when our segment's done here, we're going to do a little unboxing of stuff. But so they've overspent, but it didn't bother me. And I don't think it would bother, I've shown stuff to my wife that maybe I felt like I maybe paid a premium for, but I think she trusts me enough to know that, I'm probably making a good decision even then. So
I mean, if you've proven that your investments generally don't go wrong, and she sees it as a valuable asset to this estate, then it's a little bit easier to say, like, just shut up, I know what I'm buying, don't worry about
it. yes, exactly. That's very true. But it's I forgot all about that. I got it right down here. I'm looking forward to bringing her in the room. She doesn't like her screen time, but I force her to be out here every now and again.
It's funny. Jeff will, I'll give him a bonus every now and then, and I'll give it to him without his wife knowing, because she doesn't watch this channel, so she's not going to know. Sorry, Deb. But I'll be like, I used to give it to him in front of her because I wanted her to know that the time he spent away was valuable to the family. And then after a while, Jeff and I realized she doesn't really care. So what I said was, Jeff, when you go to a show, take your money, split it into single dollar bills, and give her a stack of cash, like, Goodfellas style. Just slide it across the table. Even though it's like $400 in singles, it feels like a lot. And then she'll just leave you alone.
Or buy one of those money shooter guns that like shoots it out. Make it rain.
And so when I give him bonus, I don't tell Deb anymore, and he'll buy stuff. And he's like, "Don't tell Deb." So I feel like I'm part of their marriage in a weird way, and I don't want to.
I don't buy that much.
Camp.
I don't buy that much art anymore. I've slowed way down.
Nice. in case she's listening.
Right.
No,
Yeah,
and also
exactly.
people check my Jeff Mart Instagram and they look at my posts of Hellboys. They'll see like 2 or 3 or 4 per month for a few years, and then now it's like I'll scan them, like 6 of them for a year. Like I'll scan them all at the same time and put them on. So yeah, definitely slowed quite a bit. But I mean, I've also run out of space too. I mean, the folios are full.
What's funny is Jeff's got so many Hellboy commissions. He's got a list of do nots. So like, no more tentacles, please. No more this, no more that.
No baby Hellboy.
No baby.
Oh man, we had a long talk about tentacles here recently too. It's a common theme.
Oh boy,
in much
comic
art.
Featured at CoxCon.
Yeah,
they have a hentai corner.
Well, we avoided that part of it, but now you've brought it in. That was we were surprised that we actually talked more about like Doc Ock and Aquaman and a few other things, but yeah, that was avoided most of the
missed opportunity.
It was a missed opportunity, but
I remember when Sean first asked about it, he's like, "Is there a thing called hentai?" I'm like, "I think you're referring to hentai." Like, so clearly he didn't know what it was because he mispronounced it. And I think was Corinne there at the time, and we were like, "It's called hentai." Like, it was very funny.
I don't know. It's not my jam. I'm not above porn, but it's just not into tentacles and animation. It kills me. Like if you're an amazing animator and you're able to draw some guy plowing some girl, and you're able to render the best cock ever, but then they have to pixelate it and blur it out in Japan. That just must kill you. Like, what was the fucking point of rendering that so well? Like, I nailed that cock vein, and you guys blurred it out. Like, I have no idea, but you're helping people solidify the name for our show if you keep talking like that. Like, I want to meet the animators.
I'll be honest, I've like wondered the same thing. It's like, boy, these guys are such great artists, and that's what they, that's what they spend their time. I don't want to get into that at all.
No, I want to get into
the same thing. I'm like, damn, they could be doing so much amazing stuff, and this is, but whatever.
But there's got to be a guy out there who's the best semen animator ever, and he knows it's not like animating water. It's different.
Sean,
different. If a guy unloads on a wall and it bounces back, he's got the ricochet. Like, there's a guy that knows animator, all of this,
Sean,
to the point where he takes it so seriously, it's not even funny anymore. People just sort of like step away from him at parties. I want to meet that guy and just get him going on like, what's your bad day of work life, buddy? He's like, oh man, I animated this great scene. I just hit this girl in the head and their hair, and I went way out of my way.
Worst day at work is still going to be better than your best day at work, Sean.
Then the boss's son comes in and he gets to make the decision, so he makes me undo it all, and then they blur it all out. I'm like, what's the point of even trying?
As long as his paycheck is
I'm speechless, guys. I can't. I don't know what else is.
We get punchy after like 9:45, 10 o'clock.
Right, exactly. You certainly have.
The point remains.
Although, Bill, I will say my reason for no tentacles is more practical. It's because an artist, as good as they are, can draw Hellboy anywhere on the page and just draw tentacles around it. And I see it sometimes, not always, but sometimes it's a lazy solution if they don't want to draw a background or they don't know who he should be fighting. They just bring in tentacles from every angle, and it can be a cop out. And after I got a few of those years and years ago, I was like, yeah. That's why I said no to them. It had nothing to do with Sean's diatribe. It was just about.
Tell me I'm wrong, though.
Oh no,
I'm not going to say you're
pouring more rum. Here we go.
Every time you guys watch hentai now, you've been thinking of me, be like, fucking Murphy was right.
He was onto something.
Maybe when they Google your name now, that'll come up.
Yeah. Well, we haven't got any webcams turned on in the chat tonight, other than that one person talking about their medical problems that I accidentally highlighted when we were talking about your commission.
So that's what that was.
I was trying. Well, there's
a bot.
No, it was probably a real person. But when I hovered over the thing that I can actually ban them, but I missed the 3 dots and clicked right beside it, and it highlighted. I was like, son of a.
I saw that you highlighted like Poontang 69. I'm like, oh,
yeah, it was something. Yeah, there was something had dilated or something. I can't remember, but all I knew was I had to ban them immediately. It happens like very rarely, but I never.
Do you normally try to keep your show pretty PG-13? And did I just destroy that?
Yeah, you pretty much did.
Failed horribly. Yeah.
I usually, interview my guests a little bit ahead of time to know what they will or won't say, and
Right.
screen them very well, but clearly you've passed through all of my checks.
He's the star that goes on the late night show and they ask him what he's going to talk about, and he gives them 3 canned points and then goes out and talks about something completely different. They're asking him questions about the 3 points and he just goes completely in another direction.
Well, by supporting the CAFCon, I feel like the only reason I'm doing it is to get on stage with a microphone and just rant for 30 minutes about hentai. You know?
Maybe we should just call it Cancel Con and just save time.
Exactly. Oh boy. Well, all right. No.
On that note.
Yes. On that note, I we've been at this for an hour and a half, and so Jeff, I want to confirm. So you got a lot of emails, right?
We did. We have we're just waiting for people to make their deposits to secure their spots. We got a few who've already done that, and we've got a few on the wait list. So
we're good. So
it doesn't hurt to have a few extra on the wait list.
No, of course not. Absolutely. Well, that's hopefully. Well, you know what? I was going to say maybe you'll share privately with me what some of the commission requests are, but I'd rather not. What I'd like to do is maybe after a couple of them are done, I'd love to let's do a little tease, reveal something that kind of shows the work in progress. And then we can spend another hour talking about God knows what. So that would be great, because I want to do more. Like I said, I really want that to be a part of the show. I want the whole lead up to be, us talking about the show and what we're going to be doing and bringing to it, and getting people familiar with you, so that when they see you at the show, Sean, they're going to walk right up to you and feel like you're an old friend. That might not be a good thing.
That's okay.
But it's going to happen.
I'm all right with that. When I start getting through these commissions, I'll send them to you, Bill. And if you want to post them just to remind people that the show is happening, and as you announce more guests or whatever, it's up to you. But, I'll send them your way. So someone's asking me about Zorro. I don't know if we could talk about that.
Sure.
Yeah, so I'm working on Zorro now. I got the rights from ZPI, who owns it, and I just needed to take a break from Batman, and I'm doing a 4-issue miniseries. We're going to use Kickstarter this October, and I actually am starting my own imprint at this publisher, which we haven't announced yet. But all my creator-owned stuff will basically be going through them. But we're sort of sorting out the contracts and stuff for now. It's funny, when I first started Zorro, I'm like, I love Zorro, but it was sort of like a bucket list thing for me, and I didn't know how much Zorro interest was still out there. Mm-hmm. And whenever I tell people, maybe they're just being nice, but they seem very interested in it. And because there's so little Zorro available from Toth, I don't know what happened. Someone told me like there's a fire and the pages are gone. Like there's just not anything to buy on the market. So we're trying to figure out our prices, because we got to sell these pages, and I'm not sure Zorro is the same as Batman, obviously. But the people that like this stuff, well, long story short, I feel like we're probably going to put Zorro pages out on the market when it's time at like half to 2/3 of Batman prices. So anybody who buys, hopefully there'll be a little bit of meat on the bone. We're going to hold a lot of it back just because I'm not really in a mood to sell all of it right now. But yeah, I'll be posting some stuff about that on Instagram. And again, I'm launching the Kickstarter for San Diego Comic-Con. The publisher I'm going with, we'll have a big Zorro push on the floor, so that should be fun. I'm excited. I have Toth's work open. I'm trying to draw like him, to acknowledge him, but I found that it was really hard because it was getting in my brain. It's like whenever I try to look at a Mignola piece, because it's so simple, it just takes over. Whereas if I'm looking at Sienkiewicz, there's a million lines there. So you can be influenced by Sienkiewicz all day, and sometimes you can't tell. But when you're looking at Toth or a simple artist like Mignola, it's very much like affects you. So it kind of threw me for a loop. Like I thought, like, man, I've been doing Batman since 2017. I'm good at drawing characters with like black on black, so there should be no problem. And then when I tried Zorro, it was really hard, and it kind of threw me off. But yeah, I've mostly stumbled my way through it now, and I'll be posting some more art as the year goes by. But I'll definitely be bringing that stuff to CAFCon next year. I'll have all 4 issues done, and probably some like free posters or something. I'm not sure what we're going to do yet, but that's my next big project.
Cool. Well, I promise you, the next time you come on the show, we're going to have a name for it. And it won't be,
because let me invent them.
I don't think I've seen it in the chat yet. So But yeah, no, we'll have a name in the next week or two, I'm sure. But yeah, man, this is a lot of fun. We do need to do this more often. This was great.
Sure thing. We can
It
record
really
it next year at the thing, at the convention.
Exactly. And thank you to whoever picked up the opportunities tonight. I mean, I know that we actually both Jeff and I had a automated email going out at 9:30, and I think we said it here a few minutes beforehand. So we definitely were giving everybody here in the chat the first opportunity to understand what the offer was and to pick it up. And so I'm excited to see who got them and what those commissions end up looking like. This is gonna be fantastic. Again, Sean, you know, how many? Just last question: how many commissions at this level have you ever really done in, say, the last 10 years?
5
at
most.
Right, 2013, 14 was the last time you did them.
Yeah, I haven't taken commissions for years. We did 2 years ago. We did an auction, and it went higher. I'm proud that it went for 13, but that was a little higher than I'd like.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't want to gouge anybody, but
right.
I did a Batman Return of the Joker piece. It ended up being a print, and I'm trying to get it as a cover too. But that guy, he did well with it. Yeah, I don't know. I'm just so busy writing and drawing and doing my thing. I just don't take commissions, and not that user friendly. And with my prices being so high, it shuts a lot of people out, which I feel bad about.
Mm-hmm.
But I try to do like free sketches at shows and other things. But for one idea we had with this was to do smaller $5,000 commissions. But I found that keeping track of that was just more of a pain in the ass. And it was like, all right, let's just do 8, 10, 10,000, just easier number to remember. And I'm sorry that shuts some people out, but I don't know. It's just a good problem that we're dealing with. So it is what it is.
Well, I sincerely appreciate it. And obviously the support it's given the show gave me a bit of, I wouldn't say freedom. I felt at ease kind of going into a lot of the conversations I had, trying to establish where the show was going to be and signing those agreements, because it's a large commitment, that you go out and get into when you're dealing with a show. Cause they basically say you're on the hook for all the rooms that you promised. and it's like, yeah, wow, that's I don't profit that much in every year. So it's like, I got to do well at this thing to make it work. So again, having your support and like I mentioned, some other support coming up is really, it means a great deal. So,
and I look forward to the guest list. I know I won't, but I was tempted to throw some names at you, which I'm like, invite this guy, invite that guy. And
honestly, if you do that after we're done here, because I've been asking a lot of people, like, who do you want to meet? Who would be cool to have as at the next table over? I'd as an artist, I'd love to hear whom you would like to have at the show, because I think that's I mentioned that's important to me. I want to have other guests that guests want to meet, that they don't get to normally see, or even spend, or maybe they're at a show like San Diego, you never get to talk to anybody, at there, unless you're lucky enough to have drinks with them afterwards. But to actually be able to hang out and spend a few minutes talking to somebody would be cool. So yeah, let me know who you'd like to see.
And Bill, some of the names you mentioned were people who don't do a lot of conventions. So you had mentioned them offline, and I'm thinking those people, you don't see them at cons. So this will have a different feel. It'll be, some legends that I would love to meet that I've never seen at a show, and easier to get to than Italy. If you really want to see some high level art. Sorry, I won't be going with you, Sean, to Lake Como.
Yeah, I'll be in Lake Como in a few weeks. I'm doing a signing tour in France, and then Italy, and then maybe Turin. I'm not sure yet. But our friend Steve runs the Lake Como show, so I'm looking forward to that. A lot of great guests there.
It's probably the most packed list of guests that anyone has ever seen.
Yeah, they blew their load.
They did. I mean, they're definitely all in this show. That is for sure. I mean, I think that this was the year I was actually hoping to go, but it's just tough to take a couple weeks off, when you're self-employed. I mean, I have a hard enough time thinking about taking the next 2 days off, like I'm going to do. But taking a whole week off from work is tough. But yeah, I'm sure it's, well, I'd love to hear about it. I have a lot of friends. I'm actually going to try to do a live stream with Tatiana during Lake Como. We tried it last year and we had some issues. So I'm hoping we get the chance to do it again, because I want to show everybody what it's like. I mean, it seems like probably the best experience that's out there today. And so again, far, nobody puts a show on. Nobody puts a show on today like Steve Morger. He was always the best with Big Wow. He knew how to take care of everybody. And I have the utmost respect for him, because he taught me a lot. And he takes care of everybody that comes through the door at a show of his.
And we tried to, you reached out to him for this. We have his blessing. And I'm curious to see how your model will be different than his.
Well, I mean, we'll see. I mean, the thing is, I firmly believe we need more shows like this. I really do. And I don't really see ever doing, I live in Orlando area now, and I plan to die here. So for me, it's like, if somebody wanted to start a West Coast show like this, I think that'd be great. I mean, because I'm not going to do it. But if somebody else wants to do it, I think that would be fantastic, because the more shows like this that are run well with the right intentions, the better. And and I know that Steve and I, our goals are the same. I think, as far as like growing the hobby and doing it the right way, and putting pretty much everybody first, which is the way Steve always treated everything. So if we could get more people like that out there creating shows and opportunities, I think the hobby would be in an even better place than it is today. So all right, well, I'm going to let you guys go. So I've got about another hour and a half of show to do here tonight. But it's been absolutely fun, and I wish I was drinking a little bit of rum tonight, but maybe after the show is over. Yeah, exactly. All right, guys. Well, again, congrats. I'm glad you got the list filled, and I'll see you both again soon.
Yeah, thank you, Jeff. Thank you, Bill. Always
Thanks so much, Bill. Thanks, Sean. Thanks, everyone.
All right, guys. Take care. All right, man. That was very unexpected, but well, not unexpected in terms of what we discussed, but very, very. I didn't expect us to go in those paths, but fun. I enjoyed everybody's naming options for the show, and again, I should have made thank you, Mikhail, and everybody else. I mean, obviously that was when I talked with Sean and Jeff in January. I just was trying to figure out what they would like in a show, and what they felt was important, and they were very adamant that we want a show like this, that's in the States, that is really focused on these things, and so they wanted to do whatever they could to support it. And you guys are still throwing out the names, but we definitely have a name, but it's not any of the names that you've discussed. But until domain names are bought and those sorts of things, and a few things are ironed out, we're definitely not going to divulge the name. But Chris Snork, I know I need to get you that link. I bet you've emailed me a dozen times for the show tonight, because I don't think I sent it to you. But yeah, so there it is. So that's where we're at. I can tell you that I do expect to probably be making another announcement within the next few weeks for another artist, and hopefully we'll not every guest that we have to the show will be doing these sorts of things, but I'm making the offer that we want to do more of these things, because I just think it makes the show more unique. And and I think we've all been very much about creating opportunities on the channel since we got into assisting with marketing and starting the Dueling Dealers and the artist sales shows. And I really see our work in the in-person show to be kind of a extension of what we've done here in this format for the last couple of years, and it's cool. And again, it's very. I think I've been fortunate enough that we kind of roll with the punches and be very versatile. We see an opportunity. It doesn't take us 6 months to figure out how to make it a reality. And I think that that's been one of our strong points, and the fact that we can work with everybody. I mean, I think that really puts us in a good position to put together a very strong show. And I do feel, well, initially I was shocked and dismayed at the dates that MegaCon was switching to. I actually believe that it's going to really make the show even that more impactful and have better guests, because if it works out like I think, MegaCon and I will be able to kind of coordinate a little bit on certain guests, get them to come in early, or in some, for me, get some of the people that I'm got coming in to stay longer. I think it works out really well for art dealers who, if they're going to make the trip to my show, why wouldn't they take a 3-day vacation and stay and then do MegaCon? MegaCon, by all reports and conversations that I had, all the reps did really well. Thursday, Friday the sales were great. It really. It was a very surprising show. So I think it's a show that, and again, there wasn't a single art dealer there. There were basically 3 or 4 art reps that were at the show, and then unwrapped artists. So it doesn't have, it had a very nice guest list. It has a lot of room to expand in the art section, and I firmly believe that we can have our show and then their show, and it really is a couple different audiences. So we'll driving less. Yeah, you never know, but I get a stash. I'll always have a stash of Coke nearby. Aranga will have. I showed Aranga that there was actually a dead end sign that he passed, but he swears that sign got put up after he went in the water. So Cosra does live in downtown Orlando or thereabouts, so he is offering his house up as a party place on Monday afterwards. And I saw somebody asked about whether or not we'd be doing things after the show, and that was always going to be a part of the show. I can't really. I'm not going to talk about it specifically, but I do intend to tell people that I'm going to be doing this on Monday, and then I'm going to be doing this on Tuesday. And anybody that is staying, after the show, they'll know what my schedule is, and I think what some other exhibitors' schedules will be, and you may want to do it too. And that was always my goal going into it, was to make to give us some extra time after the show as well, to be able to hang out and enjoy some time together. So Ian, if a gator came near you, you'd be out of there. They are around. An all-night rave. Tyler T is the DJ. That only happens at Morrison Con, Chuck. We'll talk about that next in a few weeks when I have you on the show. Those all-night raves that went on during that weekend in Vegas back in 2012. But hey, I've been talking a lot here, and I've got a video that I can show you. It's not long. It's not very long. GrailCon. That's not a bad thought there, Rick. But they are swift creatures. But I do have a short video from 2 different chapters of. Gosh, you know what? What's even funnier? I didn't even have the opportunity to show off Sean Gordon Murphy's art examples. Why don't I show them off really quickly? Because I actually made slides. These were art examples that he sent that would be consistent with the commissions that you would get. But everybody who would want one, of course, is already very familiar with Sean's work, so you didn't even need to see these. But here they are. They got claimed so fast I didn't even need to bother. But this is the type of work that he's putting into the commission pieces. So for those of you who have already claimed them, congrats. You're going to get some awesome artwork there. Now, going back, Mikhail, I guess you could say Mikhail is kind of maybe the de facto chairman of the San Diego chapter of Comic Art Fans, and of course Jeff Wedding being the chairman of the Las Vegas chapter of Comic Art Fans. Well, Jeff traveled to San Diego to the San Diego Museum, San Diego Comic-Con Museum, and they did a little trip and shot some, I think mostly photos, but Jeff in his amazing ways he put together the video, but with no audio, so I put some music to it. And so I've got it's a 4.5 minute clip here, but you get to see them clowning around and browsing the exhibit that I believe had a bit to do with cartoon history, although I didn't get to read up too much on it before I just threw the video together and put the score to it. So we'll all get to watch this together. And what, you clown? Exactly. All right. Well, let's see what happened on their trip to the Comic-Con Museum. Well, there you have it. So yes, I've opened up another Coke because I need it. I have texted Gwen and asked her to come in here, but she must be doing something more important because she hasn't come over yet. But I do have a couple things to open while I wait. Yeah, can we get a few more likes? How many likes do we have? We had our peak while Sean and Jeff were on here with like 135 people watching. But there's still about 100 people watching the show right now. So I've actually got a bunch of stuff here. Some of it I'm gonna wait and open next week because it is my birthday on Tuesday, and I've got a package over there that says don't open until April 18th. Now I'm not gonna open it on my birthday. I'm gonna actually open it on the next CAF update because I'm doing a show with Nick next Tuesday. They'll probably be our last fundraiser for Fat Jacks, but so I'll be busy with something else. But I've got that, and I actually bought a piece of art from Catskill Comics. And I bought it for myself for my birthday, and everybody you'll understand why when I open it. So I can't open that one, but I did get a package in the mail from Anthony. You know, he regularly sends me stuff, so I don't know what this is, and I'm sure it wasn't. I think I asked him, did I order something that I didn't know or I've forgotten about, and he said something like this was a house gift. So I'm assuming this has some significance for our household in general, but we'll find out. I know Anthony was in the chat earlier. I don't know if he's watching right now. Let's see. I do hope Gwen gets in here because we haven't opened this package from Heritage for a while. All right, let's see. So it wasn't a house gift. This is a gift for Gwen too. She should be here. Well, I guess I could show it. I remember this was gosh, what was that artist's name? If Anthony's watching, he'll remind me. The guys who did some of this was like something from a heavy metal issue. I forget. Anthony showed us this piece after a show recently. I don't recall. I can't remember the artist's name. Now I feel bad. I think it's remember there's like two brothers who work together. I can't think of their name. They did heavy metal stuff, and then they did some. It's not hentai, but it does look like it, doesn't it? Does kind of have that vibe, tentacly vibe. Just after we were talking about it, but yeah, what was the? They did the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles together. Not ringing a bell for anybody. I know that's who it is, but I can't remember right now. So thank you, Anthony. Gwen will be very happy that she got a piece of art. The Panda Brothers. You guys. All right, so this one is actually from Marcus, and very well packed, feels like. So we're going to see what's inside of this one. I've gotten all kinds of fun stuff from Marcus over the he got that one of my favorite things I ever got from Marcus was a sketch cover of Wolverine on like a Batman comic, and it says DC sucks, and it was by Brent Peterson, one of my all-time favorites. Now what do we got here? Okay, now there is see, this is a birthday gift. I should have waited till next week. All right, you are a jokester there, boy, oh boy. All right, well, let me read this. Okay, it says, happy birth page, Bill. I have sent you a Kelly Jones print that is worth over $14,000, according to your market report. I also included an autographed photo of Jeff Foxworthy so you can impress your neighbors. Then there are some new Asgard buttons. You'll also find some Big Wow stuff from when you were young. Lastly, you will find some original art. Cheers, Marcus. All right, let's see what we have here. All right, let's see. I don't want to damage this valuable. This is a very valuable piece of art. Right here, I'm going to carefully remove it from the cardboard. I know many of you. I saw stuff. I did actually report on this, and everybody caught me that it was what it was because I don't pay attention to those chat boards and things. So, and of course, I don't even get to read half of the market reports that Colin puts together for us. But I think many of you remember this piece, right? Yeah, it's a very, very, very valuable print. So let's see here. Marcus, you shouldn't have. This is good because there's something with Marcus that I'm going to talk about later too. So let's see. So yes, wow, it really is a print, isn't it? I had no idea because, as everybody remembers, there it is on the back of that board, just like that. I love it. See, it's these historical things that happen on this show that make gifts like this all the better. So that is cool. Thank you, Marcus. Let me see what else is in here. I did see something from Big Wow that I remember. Let's see here. Now here are the buttons. I'm going to get those out. These are awesome. So there is a, it's all Thor related, of course. Tour guide of the month. At any rate, yes, I will wear these proudly. Try to not have any glare on them. But I promise, Marcus, you will see me with these on when you see me next. Then a couple Big Wow guides. And this one was from, somebody mentioned earlier about me fetching Stan Lee his Orange Crushes. That was this was the guide from that. So it's 2013. Wow. 10 years ago, I was running all over San Jose trying to figure out who would sell Orange Crush. And Big Wow exhibitor badge. Very cool. And what else we got here? Yep, I remember doing this. Yeah, I did a lot of the I didn't do the book layouts on these, but this is cool. I'll be honest, because I never saved any of these, Marcus. I've never been save the badge, save all the old guides, except for that really old Creation Con one I've got. But this is actually pretty cool to go through and remind me of all the effort that went into that show. That was a whole, oh my gosh. You weren't lying about the Foxworthy, were you? Look at this. This will fit right on the wall, right? I could put this in the house. Everybody down here knows who this guy is. That is awesome. Keep laughing, all the best. Is it authentic? Is it authenticated? I don't know. And then what is this? It's stamped Robert Kyle from Mission Street, San Francisco, California. I don't think I can show this. I can only show this for like 3 seconds. So I hope everybody's going to be able to appreciate it in the 3 seconds that I can show it. Yeah, but it's signed by Robert Kyle. It's a piece of Humorama. Probably, is it dated anywhere? No, but it's probably from the mid 60s. I'll say. All right, you only get 3 seconds, everybody. You can. This is what happens in the VIP room at CAFCON. And there you go. That's it. 3 seconds were up. I think I gave you 5. All right. Well, there you have it. That's actually awesome, because remember last week I was talking about that Bill Ward page that was in the Heritage auction, and it actually didn't even go for any. I thought it would go for like 3 or 4. It didn't even sell for $1,500. So if anybody out there bought that Bill Ward page, I'll give you $100 over whatever you paid for it, because I think it was $1,340 it went for, and I mean it's like one of the better Bill Ward interior page examples I've seen. I really liked it a lot, and had I known it was going to go for that little, I would have bid on it myself. So, all right, sell it at the NC-17 con. Fan service in the VIP room, says Matt Moore. That's absolutely right. The helicopter twirl, is that what it's called, Ian? I wouldn't know. So, yeah, oh dear is right. But thank you, Marcus. The fantastic birthday presents all around. I do appreciate that, and I think the print is definitely special. There's so many little things that we've gotten here on the show that I've saved that I really need to get up on the wall. I don't know if that one will make it on the wall, but knowing knowing its historical significance to the hobby. I'm glad that I am now the caretaker of it. So wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. Man. All right. So I guess my daughter, even though I've texted her multiple times, isn't going to come over here. Maybe if she does, we will open up this other package. But this is the Heritage package. I did buy something from Heritage a long time ago, probably like 17 or 18 years ago. So I haven't had anything shipped from them in a long time. This thing is, for having 2 animation cells in it, this thing weighs about probably 12, 14 pounds. So there must be like Masonite in here, along with all this cardboard packaging. I really wanted to open it up just so everybody could see how they pack this stuff. And, this was part of the international auction, but it says that it was shipped from Dallas. So I know that sometimes when stuff is shipped from the international auctions, that it actually does ship from the overseas office. But apparently, at least with the stuff that Gwen bought, it shipped from Dallas. So if she doesn't come in here for the rest of the show, then I guess we have to wait and open it next week, and that'll be on her, because she had every opportunity. She said, "Text me." She's probably she's been playing some game with her sister all the time, and I never follow it. Let's see, Heritage. If you're watching, your shipping is. Oh boy. Jeff says his just had cardboard. No, there's no way that's just cardboard on mine. I can tell you that. It is way too heavy. Anyway, all right. So let me see. Where should we go from here? I guess, I really didn't have a whole lot. I know I just got Chris Snork his link to the so he can get into the show. We're 2 hours into it already, and I don't want to be here all night. So why don't I quickly go over the upcoming schedule so I can get to a couple other things before we move along to the CAF update. Like I said, I've actually got the next 3 days off, and that's a good thing because I have a friend in from Ohio. Well, no, he's not in Ohio. An old friend from Ohio. He lives in Michigan now, but he's down here, and I'll be hanging out a little bit with him the next 2 days. So on Monday, I've got Anthony's Make Offer Sale. If you don't remember what that is, go over to Anthony's website, AnthonySnyderComicArt.com. Find some pieces you like. Email your offers to me and at bill@comicartfans.com. You can pick 1 to 22. We had somebody submit a 22-piece offer the other day, which was interesting. And I think he found 21 of them, which was even better. But, combo deals are definitely the best way to go on Anthony's Make Offer Sale show. I've got a Fat Jacks fundraiser with Nick Perucci next Tuesday. I'll have, you see there's a lot of red here. I've got a lot of art sale shows coming up. Next Saturday at 2 p.m., I've got Joe Linsner on, and I'll be getting his art very soon. The Adam Kubert's show that was going to be this Saturday has gotten moved to the following Sunday, so I will be doing that here in the studio. Adam will be sitting right beside me while we do that interview and art sale on the 23rd. Then Monday, I have a Robbie and John Moore from Next Comic Art will be with me, and we'll be doing a fun sale with those guys. Chuck Arnold is my guest on the 25th, and we'll be talking about Frank Quitely, but we will have other things to talk about, I am sure. Then on the 29th, I have a show with Dennis Cowan at 2 p.m. Cowan, not Cohen. And in the evening, I'll have Dexter Soy on at 9 p.m. So that'll be a very fun day for me to be doing 2 shows in the same day, at different times. I'm up for the challenge. Then I've got Sideshow Bob on May 2nd, and that's going to be a big one because that's the 150th CAF Live show. So that'll be fun to have Bob on for that. I mean, it was a significant show when we did the 100th, right? We had Dave Mandel on for that one. So 2 premier guests on those 2 shows. So then I'll have a Dexter Vine show, sale show on the 6th of May. And I'm trying to keep May a little bit light because, of course, we've got the Comic Art Live 7.0 on May 20th and 21st. But before that, I've got the Sketchbook Show. Albert Gonzalez will be with me on the 9th. I've got Jane Frank from Wow Art. She'll be with me on the 16th. Kevin Nolan Art Sale on June 10th. And then Alex Winter from Hakes will be doing a collector interview with me on the 13th. I'll be at Heroes Con it's the 15th and 16th, but I think I'll be there the 14th through the 16th or something like that. I'll be getting there on Thursday for that big Thursday bash. and then I'll be there through Sunday morning, and then plenty of other sales. Simone Bianchi on the 24th of June, Howard Chaykin on the 8th of July, Christian Gossett again on the 15th. Koi Fam now, that's a new one on the 5th. I've got Dan Burton back on the 12th of August, and then Andy Kuhn will be with me on the 19th of August. So it's chock full of sales, and I got to get my interview list built back up because I am very far behind on that all of a sudden. I once had two months of interviews lined up, and now I've only got about a month lined up. But Chuck, if you only bring 18 pieces, I don't know. You'll make the audience happy. I can't tell you, but I can't wait for the Adam Kubert show as well. I do think for those of you who were at my house during the little get together we had in February, I think I can tell you that he might bring a couple of those covers that we got to see. He asked me if he should, and I'm like, why not? Right? I mean, I know they're going to be rather expensive, but he's sort of interested in bringing one or two of them. So I know, those of you who were here or who saw the photographs of what he brought would probably be pretty interested in seeing it. So who knows? I mean, he's going to bring whatever he wants to bring. I told him, I don't care. It's just going to be fun hanging out with him and doing a show together like we've never done here before. And Battle of the Brothers. That's very true, Jiggy. That will be an interesting show. I hope they don't get mad when one of them doesn't do as well as the other. Will there be a Kubert sketch op? Not during the show, no. But Adam does live in the Orlando area, so I'm not going to make any announcements about that. But there might be an announcement about that during the show. You never know. But yeah, outside of all that, busy schedule. But I do need to get more guests lined up for the Tuesday interviews because I'm running a little thin there. But we're really kind of focused on Comic Art Live, which will be the weekend of the 20th and 21st. Mystery Sketch Ops will start next Thursday, and I have gotten artist lists from Tatiana and Ken, and I can tell you that they've both added in a couple new artists too. I don't think, Jiggy, I got to get your list because I didn't email you that, but Jiggy, just so you know, I am starting the signups for the mystery sketches next Thursday. So start thinking about which artists you would like to, who are open and available, and we'll start working out that the numbers that we can sell and everything. Oh, Gwen's texting me now. She says she's not coming. It's too late for her. Same price as last time. Yeah, I mean, I'm raising the shipping just a little bit because I lost money on the shipping at $20, but yeah, $200 is the price for the commission spots again. So yeah, we're not changing the price on that, but I think we'll probably go up. It'll probably be $25 for shipping, maybe $30 since that's what I've been charging. But I mean, these are all 9x12, so we should be able to get away with $25. But $20 didn't work really well because I can tell you, when I was in Ohio, $20 actually probably would have worked fine. But when you're in Florida, shipping a 9x12 Masonite, backed piece of art to California costs about, I mean, it probably costs $20, but the Masonite and the bag and the tape, all combined costs like $3. So you're losing money shipping to California from Florida. So it'll probably be $25 in shipping. But there you go. Yes, Jeff, you did rather well, I think, at the last Comic Art Live in November. So you should start flipping through the collection and planning what you might be able to bring. And I know I went over to your booth probably late in the first day and had saw a lot of stuff go. But no, everybody should be considering that. Start thinking about what pieces you want to bring for sale. We will probably open the exhibit booth setup. Let's see. I mean, honestly, we'll probably open the booth setup next Thursday as well, because next Thursday would be the 20th, and that would be 1 month away. So we need to give you as much time to get your booth set up as possible. Just reuse your cardboard, Marcus says. Okay, I can hold on to it. How does mystery sketch work? Jerry wants to know. Well, you are, as a buyer, get to define, what your character is that you want to get. It's going to be drawn on a 9x12 or artist's preference. I mean, some artists prefer to work on something a little smaller, a little larger, but 9x12 is what we ask them to work on. So you'll be able to say that when you make your payment for your sketch, and you can buy more than one, but when you pay for it, you tell us which character you want drawn, but you do not know who is going to draw it. I will give you the list of artists that are in the pool of artists that you'll be assigned to. I work with a lot of reps, and now I have a couple independent artists as well. And, they tell me, this artist wants to just do one, this one can do two. Essentially I randomize the assignments and send those over to the artists or their reps, and they pick the artist for it. And so next week I'll show off a lot of examples from the last 2 years of doing these. But I mean, by and large, the artists are very, they want to do a good job. And as part of the Comic Art Live weekend, we do a Friday night kind of kickoff event with the artists who want to get on a live stream with us, and we watch them. We kind of have just a cool, relaxing hangout. And many of the artists tune in and go on live stream, and they will all, be working on the pieces. So yeah, it's fun. It's a cool, fun addition that gives us something to do on Friday night before the virtual show opens up Saturday morning. And it's fun. Peter Rowe just said it too. All right, and Jerry, I'm glad you're in. It is fun, and it's something different, and we're always trying to. I always keep thinking, like, every year we're going to add something a little, or every 6 months we should be adding something new and innovative, but I haven't done that in a while. So I'll start thinking about November show. We need to kind of add something new and wrinklish. But I guess planning this great in-person show in Orlando the weekend of January 26th, 27th, and 28th of 2024 in Orlando is where it's at. And I can tell you that we got the hotel links today. So pretty much I would imagine, like I said, I think we'll start ticket sales and get the hotel registration stuff out there within the next couple of weeks. So there's a little bit of work to be done before we can turn all that on. But Comic Art Boston says that the sketch that they got last time around far exceeded their expectations. So absolutely. I mean, I think by and large, everybody has been very, very pleased with them. It's fun. Again, it's just, a small portion of those sales goes to support the show too. So it's, you're definitely helping an artist, because that was the thing. I wanted to make sure we were guaranteeing that artists that wanted to do work for the show, because then a lot of those artists are actually taking commissions during the show too. I wanted to play a role in helping them get revenue, and make money during the con. And so the sketch event, is a good way to kind of kickstart that. I think last time we sold, I want to say 130, 140. So there were quite a few that were sold. And again, the majority of that money goes straight to the artists. So all good. Let's see. Well, I like that. Just be in a row. As Nick Brucci says, you need to add the 25th to that, so you can say 2024, 25. I get it. I like it. Jason, it will be next Thursday. I will turn on the page during the show so that everybody here gets in first, as always. And I think we'll keep the submission period open. And if we might sell out, I guess you could look at it like that. Whatever number I have, we could sell out of it. But my goal was to get the lists to the artists at least 10 days before the con, because that gives them a lot of time to work in advance of that. Some of these artists are actually going to Lake Como as well. So, I want to make sure that we give them ample time to get the work done, so that, we can get the art in everybody's hands within a few weeks after Comic Art Live. So, and I do hope there'll be a lot of Cyclops sketches, Marcus. So anyway, all right. Well, honestly, I don't have any other major topics. So let me get on with things. I can go ahead and do my quick heritage preview. I won't belabor that at all. I'll go through everything as quickly as possible. Let me get my screen share here for you. Where are you? Heritage. Okay, here it is. All right. Now, I should get over here to the first page. So, hey, this is a page some of you X-Men fans might be interested in. It's a Joe Mad, Al Milgrom Uncanny X-Men page 336. So, I'm sure many of us don't have a Joe Mad piece in their collection. Now, Jason, he's probably got a couple. But me, I've actually never owned a Joe Mad page. So this is a nice Joe Mad page from Uncanny X-Men 336. Let's see if I refresh. Where's the bidding at? 1850 right now. You know that's going to do well. So I'd be surprised if that doesn't hit 5 when all is said and done. Then this is a Spectacular Spider-Man page with no Spidey on it, right? I don't think it had him. No, it only has. It's got Black Cat. She's busting into the Baxter building, and it's Milgram and Mooney inks. You got the Torch. You get Mr. Fantastic being all stretchy. I like the page. Come on, it's even look, you even get Sue. And you get the Thing. Snork, look at that, man. That's the briefest appearance, and I'm pretty sure those are his fingers, of the Thing that you're ever going to get on a comic page, right there. I mean, so I don't know the story, but I like the page. I thought it was funny. Black Cat solo page in Spectacular Spider-Man. What issue? 89. So yeah, I mean, it's a cool page. I'd take that one. Then we were talking about Buscema earlier. I don't have anything in my collection. This is a inked page by Krusty Bunkers, which is of course Neil Adams' troupe, if you want to think of it like that. Probably, as we all know, typically Adams would do Conan's face. So beautifully laid out page by Buscema. And then you get this great inking job by Krusty Bunkers, which you are assured that Neil Adams would have touched. So I thought this was a nice page and worthy of featuring. It got to be. I mean, look at all that ink work in there, the brush work. Got to be Adams. So that's a cool one. Then this one was just for me. I just thought it was funny. Thunderstrike. We got a splash page here. You got Thunderstrike wearing his sunglasses. I don't know who. He's got some astronaut on his back, it looks like. And look, he's dragging along Spider-Man. Just a fun piece, and he's got a pretty major thigh gap there that but it's in a perspective, so you don't notice it off the bat, but it's there. Very nice page. Mike Grell. I mean, this is for the Legion of Superhero fans. So we always talk about the fact that we never see any Legion art on Dueling Dealers or anywhere else. Well, here you go. You got a Mike Grell inked page by Bob Wiacek, and everybody knows I love Bob's inking immensely. And so you get Grell and Wiacek together on a Legion of Superheroes page. What more can you ask for if you're a Legion fan? I mean, probably a lot, I'm sure. But that's a nice page. Then I picked a non-published page here because I love Chris Samney's work. You get Jane Foster Thor. I mean, I love Chris's work. He'd be a good guest to have at the show, wouldn't he? But yeah, this is awesome. I really like this piece. Done in 2014. Looks like. So that's a good one. Then I've got this again, early Brunner. I love it. This is I guess it isn't early. It's 83, but this is from Warp. If anybody remembers that, Bob Smith's inks on this one. But I love this. This is slick. I mean, this is a really nice page, signed by Frank as well. I should bid on this one. This is really, really, really nice. I didn't look that closely at it. I just knew I wanted to feature it. Now I see it. I want it. Now, let's see. We got a page 1 from issue 1 of Batman the Cult by Bernie Wrightson. So, I mean, you don't get a Batman image on this thing, but you get a wonderfully inked splash page by Bernie Wrightson. Probably won't be incredibly expensive. So for those of you looking for a good example from Bernie, that one would be a nice piece to have. Then I ended with 2 DC pages, everybody. I'm trying to show a little DC love here. This was Jim Mooney, I think all pencils and inks on this one from Action Comics. You get Supergirl, you get Superboy, and I mean, I've always loved Mooney's work, and even here, I mean, it's just a really nice page. It's only it could be done on DC with them in charge, but Superwoman's X-Ray. What is going on? So I'm not even going to read it. Now I'm thrown off. But Superwoman. I thought it was Supergirl. See, it never makes sense to me. It's DC, but a great page nonetheless by Mooney. And then I picked a Kurt Swan, a Swanderson page. Everybody, look at this thing. Kurt Swan, Murphy Anderson from Superman Annual 10. Again, just a nice close-up image of Supes there. And I mean, I don't know what he's doing in court, but as everybody knows, Murphy Anderson inking Kurt Swan is just some of the best Superman ever made. And I like this page a lot. So there you have it. See, I'm doing better. I'm not just picking Marvel. Spreading the love around as best I can. Here, I'm going to close that out. All right. I agree, David. Great page on there. Can I get a few more likes tonight, everybody? That I would appreciate that. That would be awesome. No idea where we're at right now. But hey, next up, before we get into the CAF update, of course, is the amazing EXP show that is tomorrow night at 7 o'clock. It's from 7 till 8:15 every Friday over on the EXP. Nick Ferrucci does a great job reminding us why this hobby is lots of fun and the place to be as far as collecting goes. So he shows off great art for sale, which we're going to preview next, and always has a interesting twist on something from the week. So here is our preview for Nick's show tomorrow night at 7.
Everybody, really excited. This Friday, April 14th, 7 p.m. Eastern, we got the package of John Romita Jr. and Scott Hanna art, the complete issue to Amazing Spider-Man 11. It will be offered again this Friday, April 17th at 7 p.m. Check it out. We are going to have the cover. We are going to have the interior pages, including, check out this cool and awesome splash. We're going to continue with the interior pages. Check it out. Look at these black cat pages. Then I'm going to go here. Check out these pages. They are so awesome. Some of these pages will be really affordable. So we're going to mix it up. Of course, there are a couple key pages that will be more, but you know, it'll be a nice range this Friday. But check out this last killer page. And this is one I'm hoping nobody buys. Check it out right there. Guess who flew in? The Hobgoblin. I gotta tell you, on so many levels, I love this page as much, if not more, than the cover. Check it out. And this is just, let me just show this splash one more time. But not only that, we will have the cover to Amazing Spider-Man 14, Amazing Spider-Man 10. One of these covers will be under $10,000. To be determined which one. And we're going to have a best offer, this Magneto cover by John Romita Jr. It is going to start at a low price, and then best offer at the end of this show, we'll get it. We'll also have other art, but I wanted to show the complete issue now that it's in. So, this Friday, April 14th, 7 p.m. Eastern, only on The Experience, and hit that thumbs up and share. Sharing is caring. See you Friday at 7.
Friday at 7, you know it. So where is Chris Snork? I sent him that link. I know he's going to pop in here any minute. Oh, man, do I have his intro music? I think I might have forgot that. Oh, no, I have his old intro music in there still, so I have something if he shows up. But beforehand, let me go ahead and show one thing here as a reminder for everybody. Oh, see, there he is. I haven't gotten to the CAF update. He knows when to tune in. But here, this was that Bill Ward page that I told you was going to do so well, and it only ended up at 1320. So if anybody of you out there bought that page, I'll give you a cool 1,400 for it right now. Just tell me, because I thought this is phenomenal. You know, if you wanted a published piece of Bill Ward that was that at least all the women had clothes on, this is a good one. This was a really good one. I feel stupid not at least trying to have gone after it. So 1320 seems like a steal to me. But if any of you out there picked it up, you know the deal. I would love to get it. So I'm happy to work something out with the person who picked that page up. So all right, let me get over here and get this update rocking and rolling here. I am still a little off, but wasn't that amazing earlier? I didn't think. I did not think that we were going to sell all of those slots out during the show, but I guess I underestimated the audience that follows Sean's work. So that was pretty dang cool. All right, here, let's get this CAF update started. And let me go here. So we're going to start off. This is, of course, the week of April 3rd through the 9th. And everybody actually did rather okay. Now, I say that, and dealers, they sold $345,000 in art, which is what we always consider to be average. However, one of the pieces sold was $200,000. So without that one sale, we would be at $145,000, which would have been $10,000 less than the week before. That was 155. So I do not understand why dealers are not doing better. It's the art's out there. I think everybody's making regular updates, but definitely an interesting couple weeks in a row. 155, and it would have been 145 had we not had that $200,000 sale in here. So I'll go ahead and show you the top 6 sales here from dealers last week. And like I said, 345,685 is the number from last week for the dealers that we track. First up is this Todd McFarlane, McSpidey fan, Marvel Tales 239 cover. This one sold for the asking price of $200,000 from Ramita Man. Then this was up on Glenn's website. This Eternals 12 Splash by Jack Kirby, priced at $15,000. And then another one on panel page. This Ed Hannigan. This is a Spider-Man weekly cover. It's one of those British ones. This sold for $10,800. Then another Kirby piece. This is, of course, from OMAC. This is from issue 6 and the title splash for that. This was sold by Glenn as well. Asking price on this one, $10,000. And then another one from Glenn. This is a Howard the Duck title page. Went for $9,500. So Glenn was kind of on a roll. Dr. Bong right there. And last but not least, the Mark Silvestri, Joe Weems Hunter Killer number 0 cover from Top Cow 2004 sold over on Will's site, $4,500. And I didn't mention it, but Ramita Man, number 1 seller, of course. He had $212,000 in sales. Anthony was second, $52,980, and Glenn was third with $50,100 in sales. Nobody else hit $10,000 last week. I don't know. I don't get it. It's there's definitely enough art being posted. It's just not moving, or it's not being recorded properly. And I apologize when I'm doing all this stuff. I'm not watching the chat, so I can't follow along. But now let's talk about auction houses. Auction houses did pretty well. $391,000 in sales between eBay and the Heritage Weekly Auction. That's up from $313 from the week before. eBay made up 173,000 of those sales, so very average for them. I mean, or good, better than average, I guess, these days. And Heritage did 218,000 of that amount. So I'll show you the top 3 eBay and the top 3 Heritage right now. Now, of course, everybody knows the 8-Ball book is sitting on my the back of my toilet. I'm reading it religiously every day. This is by Dan Clowes, of course. This is from 8-Ball 13, and this one sold on eBay for $7,000. Very worth it, too. I'd love to get a page from 8-Ball. Then we've got this Tim Levins Dungeons and Dragons Saturday Morning Adventures issue number 1 cover. Looks like it's done on 2 boards there, and this one sold for $4,494. And I remember that cartoon. And then we've got this Rich Buckler, a Morlock 2001 number 3 cover. Very interesting. It did sell for $4,129.79. Then over at Heritage, we've got a Tom Grummett Alvey, what is this? New Teen Titans number 90 cover sold for $5,520. Then Marshall Rogers, Terry Austin, Doctor Strange page, once again in the top 3 sales from Heritage. This is from issue 53, page 18, sold for $4,920. And last but not least, I picked it. I knew this was a good one. Bob Hall, Moon Knight, number 6 variant cover, sold for $4,560. Now that's a lot more than, and this is a current cover. I think it was from 2021, somewhere around in there. So that's awesome. I mean, Bob Hall, he's obviously a veteran of the hobby, and I think he's rep by Catskill too. So it's cool to see one of his pieces go for that. I mean, that's pretty awesome. I hope he saw that and was impressed with himself on that one, because that was a very fine price realized on that one. And I agree with Tom McDonald on that. And Tom, I didn't email you back. I owe you an email. I apologize. This week has been crazy. But yeah, that was a good price on the Marshall Rogers. I agree. I think the other one went for more than that. And Colin says, yeah, that D&D cover was great. It really was. I mean, you see that and you know, you're reminded immediately of the cartoon. I mean, that was a really, really nice piece. So yes, all around. So, hey, you know what time it is, man. He's drinking in the green room. Unbelievable. Yeah, put it down, Snork. All right, you know what time it is, and unfortunately, I've got to play his same music from last week. You know who's in the building, everybody? Here he is, the man of the hour, Chris.
I feel like I need to make a dynamic entrance or something when that's going on.
Exactly. You need to like come bounding into the camera.
Like slide risky business style.
Keep your pants on. You got to keep this PG, especially I don't know, after earlier. I mean, probably half the audience has their pants off at this rate.
There was a lot of fluid talk earlier.
There was, and it wasn't me. I wasn't talking about it.
Heavens no.
Yeah, boy. Well, you were antagonizing them. I saw. If I go back and like read everything that you said, yeah, you were egging everybody on.
I was participating vigorously in the chat.
You definitely were.
Yeah.
So yeah, my booze at the zoo was a lot of fun. If
Good
you were
deal.
ever down here for that, it was actually it was pretty darn cool actually. I mean, the zoo. I've never been to the zoo that it was at. It was rather small zoo, not like Tiger King kind of zoo down here in Florida, but it was actually well done. But yeah, they had like 30 beer stations with 2 beers, or so there was a couple wine and a couple like vodka spritzery things that I tried, but most of it was beer. Tried to take photos of everything, but that goes after you have about 10 of them, you stop thinking about taking pictures. But I had some interesting beers, and it was fun. It was, those things are great because everybody likes to talk. It was like every time I'd get in line, you met somebody new.
Yep.
And Gwen, the reason we went was because Gwen was doing volunteer work for college. And she was pouring. She's only 20, but I guess down in Florida, if you're 18 years old, you can serve.
That checks out.
Yeah. So I made sure to get a picture of her handing me a beer. I was like, I'm so proud. This is my daughter. And some guy next to me who was sloshed. He's like, oh, she's poured me many already. Like, all right, fantastic. And Gwen was like, did you know that guy? I'm like, he was drunk, Gwen. He's my best friend when he's drunk.
Yeah.
Anyway, all right. Well, we've got a fair amount of artwork to look at, and we're running late tonight. But all good stuff. It was an interesting week of art post to CAF, I think.
A lot for sale.
That is true. I hope I didn't pick any pieces that were for sale. And you got me on. Well, no, did you get me on one? I don't know if you did or not. Like, I think you picked one, and then I accidentally still picked it, and I might only have nine selections tonight, but we'll see. Okay. All right. And the first piece is a very familiar one because it was a piece that I got to handle before I shipped it out, and I can tell you from experience, having seen this thing firsthand, it was awesome. It was like I love all Dan's stuff, and I was like so set on getting one of the commission pieces, and I didn't. But of the published pieces, this was my absolute favorite. It is so. I mean, this image doesn't. I mean, it doesn't look scanned. I mean, well, maybe it is. I mean, it's in Andrew. Andrew would probably scan it, but in person, this thing was gorgeous.
It's so hard, like stuff that's layered paint like this is so hard, I think, to get a really accurate scan of, and just makes it so much more impressive when you see it in person. But we're not all in that position, obviously. So I picked this for a few different reasons. One is I also love Dan Brereton. I was a big fan of Nocturnals when it was coming out originally back in the the Malibu days. I think it's so cool to see all of the main characters together in one image. That was really, outside of a cover, that was a very rare thing in the book, because they kind of did the Scooby-Doo thing a lot in the stories where people were split up and, working on different things. But the thing that really made this for me, and I think is so clever, how Halloween Girl is looking at the viewer. I just thought that was such a cool touch. Really brought something extra to this.
Yeah, no, I agree. And it's funny, you look at Dan's work a lot, and I did this piece in particular. The paint is very heavy on it too. It was really, really striking. As were his covers. He really, well, even on the commissions too. But the covers, he definitely put a lot more paint down on them, and this one really was just amazing. So yeah, I like this too.
Is this on like a watercolor board, Bill, or what?
It was. Okay. Yeah, a little smaller. It was kind of I'll say it was like 10 by 16. It was a little smaller than 11 by 17 page, but still just fantastic. And in the moment he said it's for the, I'm doing a game, and it's going to be for that. As soon as he said that in my pre-interview with him, I was like, oh, that sounds cool. He's like, it was already a back cover, but we're using it over here. And that's what almost sold it to me. I almost pulled the trigger, and I thought for sure if it didn't sell, I might have went for it, because I've loved his work forever. And this piece just spoke to me. I mean, it has all the elements of a Brereton painting that you want, color aspect, and then you have all the characters.
Right. Well, it's got to look tremendous on a wall. I mean, even the composition is so, display friendly.
Right. And I think did Andrew? He had he mentioned like this being like kind of a reference point for him in this, and you can see it. I mean, but he pulled it off really, really well.
Mm-hmm. It's almost like an album cover too, in a way.
Yeah, definitely. Well, congrats to Andrew on this one. I'm glad it arrived safely. And here we go on this one. So Felipe Andrade, and what do we got here? Whoa, large scan for this one.
Great scan. So Andrade to me is so. I guess I'll use the word interesting. I'm not really sure, what to say about this outside of the fact that I love the way that he kind of like breaks the boundary between illustration and I guess what I would call cartooning. There's a lot of life in all of these characters. There's a lot of life in all the line work. So it's a very like lively thing to look at. But you're still depicting the characters, right? And everybody reads as who they are. I mean, it's obviously Deadpool and Archangel and all those folks. But the background, all that stuff makes it an illustration. But the way that he stylizes and almost kind of abstracts the characters is really just great cartooning. So I'm a big fan of his stuff. I think this is really really well executed and clever in some ways.
No, I love it. I love the his approach to the figures on here. Just they're not really anatomy's not important,
right?
It's okay. I mean, it fits the style really well. I mean, this is almost like a dry etching, that you do on a plate before you ink it up. And totally. I mean, it's just, it really looks like that. And even the way it's inked kind of gives you that feel. So no, I love this piece a lot.
I think one of the things that a lot of people don't always realize is how much can be lost in the like vibrancy or like the life that's in a drawing when you take it from pencil to ink, but it's all retained here.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, no, great piece here. Let me get my like on this one, and Pat L. That's what I thought. Pat L's calf. Congrats, Pat. All right. We saw that. So this is in Lou Valenti's calf gallery, and of course it's a Dave Gibbons, Walt Simonson written page from Marvel Fanfare. I don't remember this story. Interesting.
I don't either, but what a cool combo of like legendary, folks to work on something. Yeah. So I picked this because I always try to do something sequential or a few sequential pieces, but the way the page is put together, I think is so, and I think Marcus actually touched on this in his comment, but the fact that he establishes Doctor Strange and the environment and then really pushes you through the sequence with the inset panels. I think is so cool and not something you see often. And the inset panels are, I guess I would say, more intimate, which is a cool way to do it too, because it allows you to really like drive in on Doctor Strange.
Yeah, I love this. I mean, the word balloon's kind of carrying you through the page. It's really well thought out. Nah, that's cool. Is this all Gibbons, do you think? Did he pencil and ink it? Oh,
I
yeah, it
think
says all. Yeah.
so.
Cool.
It feels like it definitely feels like Gibbons inks to me, especially in the inset panels.
Right. Oh, yeah, like right in here. That definitely. Huh. Yeah, this is a really great page.
And great, like
Indeed.
emotive faces.
No, this is awesome. This is a good get. Page is not yellow. We'll update. Oh, so he's going to give us a new scan sometime soon. That's what you get when you're with photography, right? But all right, no, great piece there. I did not see that piece before, so I'm glad you picked it.
Thanks.
What do we got here? Dan Mora, Action Comics 1051 cover.
So as time goes by, I'm becoming an even bigger Dan Mora fan than I ever have been. I love how clean this is. I love everybody's, I get the impression that he didn't design these costumes. It certainly didn't design them in all cases, but like he definitely brought his kind of particular visual flair to the way he put them on the characters. And this is, it's nothing special, certainly from a composition standpoint. It is kind of cool that they're kind of forming the triangle that we associate with Superman. That's a neat element for sure. But I like the way, each individual character has like a level of importance to the piece. I think that's well done. But more than anything, I just love his style. I love how clean this is. It's kind of like a Jim Lee-ish, but also like it's got like a Ryan Sook element to the style, and it's tremendous.
Yeah, Nick Bruch, you mentioned that too, and I see it definitely in the brushwork for sure. Yeah, no, really really nice piece, and I love I love it a lot. I mean, it's I don't think let's see, what do we got here? Matthew P. Who's he? Oh, okay, there you go, showing off the piece. That's cool.
Cool.
Yeah, very very nicely done.
Dan Mora actually seems tall.
Let's see. I'm trying to read where he got it. I guess it's C2E2 is
Cool.
where he picked it up. So cool. That's very cool, Matt. Congrats on that one. A very nice piece. Put that on there.
Oh, Matthew Pop said he did do those designs, so that makes a lot more sense as to why I felt like it was very Dan Mora-ish.
Sweet. All right, what do we got here? We have something in whose calf gallery is this? Gaurav Patel from India. Okay, well, awesome. I don't think I've ever been in their calf gallery. This is a Rob De La Torre He-Man commission.
So I'm a child of the 80s, and I picked this because it's He-Man, if for no other reason. So what I like about this is it's very evocative of kind of like when I got into the character. So when he was being illustrated by like young Mark Teixeira, Alfredo Alcala, those, even like Bruce Timm was working on He-Man back then, doing production art. Dave Stevens was working on He-Man back then, but it had this much more like sword and sorcery flair to it, but with kind of the added technology. So it was almost like Thundar the Barbarian or something like that is kind of what He-Man kind of began life as, and it just reminded me a lot of that. Like Battle Cat looks really feral. The inking style certainly lends itself to that kind of homage to the time period. So I love this.
No, it's a really nice piece. Let's see, I'm just curious. So a few other pieces by them here. That same collector has picked up a few others. No, cool.
I think he's a Conan artist.
I guess so. I mean, there's a lot of good stuff here.
So the He-Man thing even makes even more sense, and like the tone and the style absolutely line up.
I'm not familiar with the artist's name, but no, the work's great. Very Buscema inspired. Cool. Very cool. Now this one caught me off guard, I have to say. You have to tell me.
I picked it?
Yeah.
So, I went to school for graphic design, and that's really what this is. I mean, this is just a terrific graphic design. I love the way that the whole thing is like mirrored out on the opposite side. It's wild. I mean, it's just so fun to look at. There's so much going on with shape and, like all these different like super heavy blacks, and like the line work is terrific on the whole thing. He really varies the line, especially on the figures versus the, you know, kind of the graphic elements. But yeah, I just think this is so fun to look at.
It's a very neat image. I mean, and but I was just like, whoa, this is not what I'm used to seeing. But that's a good thing. I think you know, it was a very challenging image to look at. I didn't get a chance to read what it was used for.
I think it's a creator-owned book. It's called Star Seeds, and I think it's a creator-owned book by the artist, if I recall.
Sweet. So this was a published piece in it. Well, I'll leave that one open. Go follow up and read more about it. But Mark V, congrats to this pickup, because it is probably one of the more unique pieces posted to CAF.
It's got to look great on a wall.
Exactly. I wonder, does it list the size here? It's got to be pretty. 24 by 34. Wow. All right. Yeah, that's huge. Cool. That's awesome. Peter Rose says interesting, and Jeffrey C says pyramid head. All right.
I'm trying to keep people on their toes a little bit.
You did. Now this next one is you know, gorgeous page. I already put a like on it because I liked it. It's in Jeff Singh's gallery. FF 256 page by John Byrne.
Yeah, this is probably a jealousy pick more than anything. I need a Byrne FF page at some point. I have a Byrne Thing image, which I'm very fond of. He's smoking a cigar, but it was a commission. I really want to get a published page at some point, and this would be such a great one to own. I love them like blasting out of the negative zone. From a story standpoint, it's so cool because you can actually even see he notes on the side to the colorist that the FF's costumes have changed color, and then they comment on like, oh, we're back from the negative zone, like look what happened to our costumes, which is such a, you know, kind of like silver agey thing to have happen to them, considering, you know, when these stories were told.
Right.
But you know, for me, it's all about that bottom right image. That panel of the Thing is just a perfect you know, Byrne Thing face, in my opinion. Well,
totally. At first, I remember not really liking the way he kind of did his brow, but it kind of grew on me over time.
He vacillated. Everybody who draws the character is guilty of like drawing him a little bit differently every time they draw him, I think. But one of the things that I like about the character, honestly, I know I've said this before, is that it gives an artist like a lot of latitude. You know, they can kind of do little things however they want. And I also think it's cool because, you know, Byrne famously kind of did a treatise on like, this is how you have to draw the Thing. Mm-hmm. And so he never strayed away from kind of his like core ideals of what he should look like. But, you know, to your point, like that brow ridge is not going to look the same panel to panel, issue to issue.
Right. Now, this is a great page. I would love, you know, I want to Byrne X-Men page, but I'd love to get a Byrne FF page one day. This is a nice one. I mean, well, wait a minute. I do have a Byrne X-Men page. This doesn't have any, or a FF page. It doesn't have any FF on it. I always forget about that damn thing. I love that page. But yeah, I mean, every time you see like him drawing Sue Storm, right? I mean, it's like, damn it, he drew her so cute looking. So yeah, all right. Well, nope, this is a good one. And Jeff Singh, of course, has one of the most amazing CAF galleries. So if you head over there, definitely check out this page and all of Jeff's amazing collection.
He's been very active on CAF lately too.
He did. I picked a page from him as well for different reasons, but we'll see that when we get there. All right, Sam Keith, Wolvie fan. You can't go wrong. The Marvel Comics Presents 107 cover.
Yeah, this is this page is like a time capsule. You know, I mean, this is like, you know, when this was drawn, not just because of the content, but also because of the style. And, you know, Sam Keith pushed things further than kind of anybody else did at the time. I mean, all you need to do is see, you know, Ghost Rider's appendages and his, you know, his hands and his feet to kind of understand. Look at Werewolf by Night's foot. I mean, Sam was doing like whatever he wanted to do, however he wanted to do it, and people were absolutely eating it up. And I have a tremendous amount of respect for the fact that like he just gave like 0 Fs, like whether these characters were on model or off model, like he was doing his own thing. And it's amazing.
Yeah, it is pretty crazy. I mean, the more I look at it, the
It's
more
wild.
I see how many liberties he took with anatomy and everything else, and it's okay.
That's not
It's
Ghost Rider's costume at all.
right.
You know,
Wow. Well, Keith, I love Keith's work. This is, but yeah, this is a guy who doesn't give two F's about anything. He's going to do whatever he wants. Yeah. Bob just called him the anti-Liefeld. So
he added all the extra foot mass from those missing Liefeld feet.
He took it to the other extreme, and that foot's bigger than the front tire on that on his bike.
Exactly.
Oh man, but
respect, you know, and like look at the hatching and that like element in the foreground, the bricks or whatever that is. I mean, that's just pure. Like, yeah, I'm gonna do it this way.
Yeah, Antoine has an interesting comment. Sam Keith is Von Baudet meets Frank Frazetta. Yeah,
I get that.
There's
some
I can see it
in there for sure. Yeah.
That's we don't feature a lot of stuff by Vaughn. I mean, well, it's because there's not a lot of that stuff getting posted to CAF too often, unfortunately. But yeah, very, very nice. Oh, and Chuck, even another good comment there. Very street art, comics influenced. Great that Marvel let him get away with all that. Yeah, very true.
Chuck knows a lot about street art too.
He does. All that time he spent living on the street, right, Chuck? We're gonna learn all about Chuck
Just
Arnold on the 149th episode of the Comic Art Live channel.
Yes,
very soon.
And in stark contrast,
yes. We got a Jay Anacleto piece here, and whose CAF gallery are we in? Artson. All right, and let's see. Get a look at this. I mean, I love Jay's pencil work. I mean, come on, look at the detail on this thing. This is beautiful.
It's so dialed in. It's so, you know, the anatomy is dead on. The facial expression's gorgeous. The way he, you know, dropped out and made the background like flat but still important. It perfectly showcases the figure. The rifle like breaks the whole thing, like adds that cool like half element to the composition. I can't say enough nice things about this before you even touch on the level of detail.
Yeah, it's a very smart illustration in a lot of ways. I wish you would have like finished drawing the stock on the gun though. That's my only complaint. But you know, because it could
edge to edge.
It should have been edge to edge. That's the only thing. But other than that, no, I mean it's absolutely beautiful. I love that he the holster, the belt is his cutoff point there, and I love the
textures are
subtle
gorgeous.
background. Yeah, I mean this is a smart illustration here. But I mean you wouldn't expect anything less out of it, Anacleto. I mean everything he does is so beautiful, and at least he's even got her pinky up like that.
Well, she's proper.
Yes, exactly.
I've touched on this probably 100 times at this point, but like I love when it's so clear in an illustration what the different elements on the character or in the, you know, the piece are. The leather reads as leather, the hair looks like hair, the shirt looks like cloth, the gun looks like metal and wood. I mean, that's just it can't be overstated like how important that is if you're going to push the level of detail like this, that you can execute at that level.
Right. No, I completely agree. I was fixated on the belt, right? The lighting on the belt just made, you know it's leather. I mean, he's got it down. I mean, anybody else could have just done it flat as a you know, but no, he takes it to that extra level to give it that bit of realism that you're just not going to get from some other artists. But no, it's fantastic. Jeff C says, and it's true. I've touched on this 1,000 times at this point. Well, you know, after doing these for about a year and a half now, I guess he probably has touched on these about 1,000 times.
It's such a big thing for me. I mean, texture is so important in illustration, and to be able to do it, it's one of the things that like I feel like I seek out. And when I do, you know, if you're good, like I said, if you're gonna be drawing in this style, it's so incredibly important to be able to pull this off.
Right. No, and Jay does it time and time again. And the underlight of the jawline, yeah, I mean everything. That's funny, Antoine. You don't even notice it because it's done so well, but you know, and so lifelike. I mean, he's nailed it, right? I mean, that's just it. I mean, it's
the folds in the shirt. I mean, like, who wants to draw a tied shirt?
Right. Well, we could stare at her for hours. But yes, it is well done. Amazing. I've never owned a piece by Jay either. I mean, I've seen a lot of it because I've friends and hang out at San Diego, and so I've seen a whole bunch. But speaking of Kirk Dilbuck, as the gentleman who reps the amazing Jay Anacleto, this is a piece I actually picked this piece too. So you've picked this piece, but deservedly so. We both were on the same wavelength with this particular image because okay, I'm going to say it because I want to say it. I see this and I'm reminded why I think Frank Cho is just a genius, and in so many ways. I mean, his mastery of anatomy, but in this one, I really appreciated the subtle tone in the line work for Thundra and She-Hulk, as being a lighter color. I mean, there's just so many cool things happening in this piece. And I look at it, and he's done it all with just so many fine lines. He's not over-rendered any of it, and that's what makes this thing all the more sweet. And now you can take it away, Chris.
Well, what I think is so cool about this is not only is it a very difficult scene, to illustrate and to illustrate effectively, but also I absolutely love how the Hulk is still so in the presence of all these, obviously he's known for drawing gorgeous women, and these are gorgeous women, but the Hulk is still the focus of this, right? It's his cover, it's his book. And the way he did it is really just through ink. I mean, by more heavily inking the Hulk, he really effectively made him the focus of this image. And that's so subtle, but it's so well done.
Yeah, no, it really is. I mean, it's gorgeous. Every bit of this is amazing. Kirk always gets the good stuff. I don't know how he does it. he gets the good vintage stuff. He gets the good modern stuff. I mean, the guy has it all.
Yeah.
I'm jealous. I'm very, very jealous of him. But what does he have in here? He's got a commission image. What is that for? What is he showing this one for? If this is Paulo, what is he showing this image for?
I don't know.
I'll have to go read more. He says big fan of Frank Cho's work, and these are 3 of my favorite Marvel heroes, as evidence of the commission I had Paulo Sequeira do for me that I foolishly sold at some point. So yeah, well, there you go. That's a piece of art gone. Yep, that's pretty nice. Why would he sell something like that? What was he thinking?
Maybe that's how he gets the good stuff.
Yeah, exactly. Well, congrats to you for this wonderful piece, Kirk, and good. We both like this one enough to pick it, so you definitely know he was onto something. Yeah. All right, so let me get my picks up here on the screen. We're just at the 3-hour mark.
The witching hour.
Yes, it is. All right, let's see here. Get this one over there. All right. Okay, here we go. Wes Craig. Kaya. I mean, I'm not familiar with what Kaya is. This was a variant cover.
It's his creator-owned book.
Got it. I mean, I read the description. I guess Wes Craig did some homage pieces to other artists' styles and whatnot. Of course, this is a Frank Miller kind of homage feel to it, and I didn't read to see what the other artists were that maybe Wes riffed on a bit. But I just thought this piece was great. I mean, I love the rain line work here. I mean, all of it, just all over his blacks. I mean, I just thought it was gorgeous. I love the lighting on the characters.
Yeah, awesome lighting.
Yeah, I mean, I'm looking at it now, and it's even better than I thought originally. This is just really slick. I mean, I'm very impressed. I mean, when I first saw it, it's done in such a way that I actually didn't think Miller when I was looking at it. I was just really appreciative. Yeah. And then I got it. I'm like, okay, but I love the character at the top just really coming out of a dark area that's brightly lit. I mean, it's just crazy. The approach that they took on this, and man, I mean, looking at it now, it's like twice as better than when I thought of picking it. I really like this thing a lot.
I think I would say thematically it's Miller, right? I mean, you can tell where he's driving, but there's, it's still distinctly not Frank Miller, because I'll say something sacrilegious, but one of the things that you can say about Sin City era Miller is that it tends to be almost like a cutout. It tends to be more two-dimensional, kind of flatter looking, and that's a style choice. It's certainly not a limitation of the artist, but this has volume. When you look at the way the light wraps around the character's leg on the bottom, it just like it's showing like, okay, this is a cylindrical shape, right? And like Miller didn't go in that direction for Sin City, so this still reads as his own thing, which I think is cool.
Right. No, this is it's a gorgeous piece of art. So congrats to Reva Jacobs. They posted a lot of good art this week. There was a couple pieces I almost picked as well, and then I realized, wait a minute, I can't do another one from them. So they had a very good week on CAF, posting some good stuff. So this one was my pick from that. And then I picked the Hulk cover too. This is more of just a fun like reminder period. It's from '79. All Milgram on this one, and I don't know, it's it's a simplistic cover, but it's like perfect from that era. And I love Al Milgram's work, and he inked I think a lot more probably than he penciled, but this is an all Milgram piece, and just cool. I mean, I like the overall image. I mean, I don't remember it in color. I don't even know if they had one here. Nope. But I liked it. I like it a lot. And
who's this belong to?
Who did? Dan Pock. Dan P.
Okay.
Dan P got this one. The Jade Giant squares off against longtime foe Tyrannus. So yeah, I like it. I like the way the fire is drawn. Again, it's all just so period, right? I mean, it's just that's how comics were illustrated back then, and I think this is a wonderful example of artwork from that era.
Yeah, another time capsule for sure.
Yep. Next up, this is in Kareem El Rafe's CAF gallery, a Jim Chung piece, and Mark Morales inks on this thing.
Ooh,
but
I didn't see this.
Yeah, I love Jim's work. Another artist I've never owned anything by, but look at that mist. I mean, in front of Rorschach, that thing is so well inked here. I mean, that's some darn good work. I mean, God, I love it.
A lot of tech pen.
Yeah, absolutely. And again, I guess I'm liking the pieces that had a lot of weather issues going on, and so more rain on this one. But yeah, I was like sold on just the cross hatching, in the backgrounds. I mean, there's a lot of work that went in. I mean, just look at all. You could have done those in so many different ways to not put that much work into it, but they put the extra effort in there, and it shines. I mean,
heavy atmosphere.
Yeah. And then you get the classic kind of Watchmen laid out cover as well. I thought that was kind of fun to have that on there.
Yeah, I'm a huge fan of both of these guys. Honestly, Jim Chung is one of maybe 5 artists that I have more than one piece from. I'm a big Mark.
Yeah, fantastic inker. I bet you that you think that was statted on after the fact, because I would assume when you buy it, it probably wouldn't have had the indicia on it for modern carpets.
Yeah, I think I would.
But it does help it. It's cool to see it. But yeah, see, I didn't even. The more I look at that background, it's just crazy that they put that much effort into making this piece. But very, very, very well worth it. So yeah, that's a great one. A noir tinged depiction of everyone's favorite member of the Watchmen. That is very true. So Kareem El Rafe, his amazing CAF gallery as well. Just about to celebrate his 12th anniversary on the site. Look at that. So congrats. Next up, Nick Runge, 2001 Space Odyssey piece. I just thought this was cool. Whose CAF gallery was this? Oh, Seamus and Sharon. And this one is it's almost 2 feet by 3 feet as a piece. And look at that thing, man. It's very, very. I mean, the detail in this thing is gorgeous, and it's just slick, very slick.
Almost photographic.
Yeah, I was almost worried when I first saw it. Is this digital? Is this
How old is this?
I have. Let me see. Does it even have a description? Let's see. So does it say? No, it doesn't say the date. This says this was originally done for an exhibit with the Hero Complex Gallery that produced a limited edition 250 G-Clay prints. I don't see a date on it, but
That's stunning.
yeah, no, it really is. I mean, that's
Kind of
cool.
reminds me of Charet's Metabaron stuff that he did for Metal Hurlant back in the day.
Very, very true. Very true. Yeah, I didn't even think about that. I was trying to think like who does this work remind me of, and I don't know why Travis didn't come to mind at all. Oh, and look, I don't know why he didn't, because Chalk, yeah. There we go. It's pre 2015, I guess.
Okay, so could be influenced by.
Yeah, definitely. But no, I mean, can you imagine this thing is 2 foot by 3 foot? That's
wow,
unbelievable.
And I have to believe a lot of this is airbrush.
Yeah, I mean,
which
the
makes
way
it even crazier.
Yeah, I think you're right. Well, that's a beautiful piece. Congrats to Seamus and did I give it my thumb? Yeah, I gave it my like already. All right, cool. Next up, this was my cover image pick for the show. I've always been a huge fan of Grindberg, and this thing is super slick. Glenn Crane's Calf Gallery. Let me click on this thing. It's not much bigger, is it? Oh well. I have always liked the way Grindberg does his figures. It's like he's like channeling, Frazetta and a few other.
Has the Frazetta feel for sure, especially the female character.
Yeah, but it's definitely him. It's not like he's ripping him off. I've always, I can always tell a Grindberg, and he's just always had I've just always loved his style. His brushwork is beautiful, and I mean, after Frazetta, I think he's like one of the, he's a person whose work I've always really appreciated in this genre of work, and yeah, this one's just cool. It's busy.
Yeah, cool, crazy, crazy design, crazy. I mean, this is great. I mean, I love it's period sci-fi, right? It's like late 50s, early 60s sci-fi look.
Yeah, Williamson too, Chuck. You're absolutely right, Chuck.
Mm-hmm.
Rosetta and Williamson, but yeah, this is great. I've never owned anything by Grindberg, which is crazy. I mean, I've always loved his stuff, but yeah, this
They're like Pokemon, Bill. You gotta catch them all.
I'm trying, man. I'm trying. But Chuck says, I love the shadow of the lady on the asteroid. Yeah, I mean yeah, there's just cool stuff going on in this thing, and it's almost like it's all just thrown together kind of haphazardly, but man, it
definitely is not.
No, not at all.
When you think about the fact that, so like, Chuck talked about the shadow, right? Well, think about the fact that then he knew that he had to lay like that white element, the asteroid down there, to be able to throw the shadow on there. So that's how it's not haphazard. Like, he may have like thumbnailed this a few times and been like, yeah, I think I'll go with that. And maybe some of it was happy accidents, but like so little of this is, this is very deliberate.
Definitely. Well, it's a definite keeper. Oh, he's using a print or something, huh? Okay, well, Glenn's always got good taste, and I can understand why he would go after that piece as well. Reminds Peter of EC Comics, and I would agree with you there. Now, so this one is in the permanent collection of Tony Caviz. I guess is how you pronounce that. A small scan, unfortunately, everybody, but this is Kale New. I'm assuming that's how you pronounce the name. I wasn't familiar with the artist, but again, I guess I'm drawn to pieces that have really dynamically well rendered backgrounds, because I love the way Spider-Man looks here, but I loved the entire cityscape with this piece too. I love the perspective, and it seems that a lot of care was put into it. And there were a couple Spider-Man images that were posted this last week that I debated picking, but I went with this one because this one was just so soft, and it just felt like he was going for an angle of realism that maybe a couple of the other pieces were just a little more wash tones and didn't have it. This one, I just really like the overall approach that they took to this piece.
It's so tightly rendered too, which I mean, it's great. I do wish we had a bigger scan, because I feel like there's a lot to like pour over on this.
Agreed. And again, obviously, when they put the words "permanent collection" in all caps, they love this piece, and and again, it's 11 by 17, so it's a standard size, but it's got to be damn impressive in person. So, and again, I'm not familiar with that artist either. So
I think he was one of the well, what's Marvel calling those guys now? It's not Young Guns anymore. It's Stormbreakers. Is that right? Somebody in the chat. I think he was one of those like featured, like, hey, here's some cool new guys that we have working for us. So I do think he's gaining in popularity.
I remember this from Mikhail's Calf Gallery. Yeah, slick. No, well, I like his stuff a lot. This next one is John and Sal did this Thor 193 page. I don't think Thor's on it at all, but Surfer's all over this thing. And you know, it's that everybody knows I love the 6-panel layout. And this actually was, I've seen this page because Berkey had it. And it was a page I almost was like, oh, I like that one. I might want to set that one aside because it had Surfer in it, you know, and it's John and Sal. It's like how it's hard enough to get a Surfer page from, you know, John, the regular run, and then you get a cool page like this in Thor. I mean, it was basically calling my name, and I didn't take it. So you know, but I loved it from the moment I saw it. It was just such a fun. You look at it again. 6-panel layouts are tough to kind of pull off.
Those middle three, or actually, honestly, the first 4 are so like bombastic too, which is you know, period.
And I love that last panel where he's trying to break the board. Trying,
doing a good job of bending it.
Yeah. I don't think it worked out to his advantage, but
if
at the end of
the
the day,
couldn't break it, you can't break it either, pal.
Right. But I love the lettering. You know, these last 4 panels. I mean, it's like, damn, why didn't they do it on all of them? Like where they, you know, they have like the first letter breaking, you know, done like that. There's just, it's a fun page all around. I mean, even look at the, you know, even in these inset panels for the text, he's got that's just so dang cool. I like this page a lot. I regret not setting it aside when I had the opportunity. And owner of this one is JH. So I'm not sure who JH is, but congrats on getting this page. It's gorgeous. Then next, I picked a Carl Barks piece. So this is Uncle Scrooge from 1965. We don't pick Barks too often, and you know, I mean, when you look at it, I mean, he's just an amazing illustrator. I mean, I thought this piece was just fantastic, and it's. Again, it was more, we don't, you know, we kind of take certain things for granted. I think, you know, certain stuff is just always going to be good, right? A Peanut strip is going to always be good. Carl Barks strip is always going to be good. So we overlook stuff like that. And I thought, well, this is a time to pick a piece because I don't know what the size is on it, but when you look at it, you think, man, this must be like oversized or something given the era and everything. But it's cool. I mean, I love it. And I love seeing pieces like this on CAF.
I only have one question, which is the owner Italian?
Well, we'll find out. Denmark.
Okay.
Soren Marsner. Yes, I've been in Soren's CAF gallery many times. Almost a 15-year member of the site.
It's such a cool cultural thing to me that those Disney ducks are so important to the Europeans. Particularly for whatever reason, I feel like Italians just like love this stuff.
Yeah, no, well, I mean, I'm glad they do. I mean, I don't want but you're right. It is something about the Europeans and the duck world. But again, it's just great to see. I'm sure we don't have a whole lot of Carl Barks artwork on CAF, so which is criminal. But it's just because. I don't know, people probably just don't think to post it. But yeah, this is a great piece. I'm glad it's on the site. Let me see here. Oh, this was the one I picked from from Jeff Singh's CAF gallery, just to highlight a piece that has some serious water damage to it. This is from Understanding Comics 64. No, I can't click on it. But I just thought it was, you know, an interesting piece to show off. I mean, it's from a lot of people have a lot of respect for this book, and you know, so it's unfortunate when you see something like this. I think that Jeff might have mentioned that several pages from this book have had something happen to it. You know,
there's a lot of pages. I mean, the map works out that
Yeah, and that you know, it definitely doesn't look like anything but water. Probably, you know, even though it's discolored, that's probably from something in the ink that was used to make it that color. But you know, I mean, it just goes to show you that if you want something bad enough, it doesn't matter what the condition is. And I thought, I'm going to pick this piece for that reason. It's again, this is a book that a lot of people really have a lot of respect for, and I think that I know that the pages from this stuff command some pretty decent prices, and so at the end of the day, you take it as you can. I mean, I don't know if any restoration work could probably help that. I mean, it's already been wetted down once. I mean, I don't know how you would thin it out to make it look any better, but again, as a hobby where there's only one piece, sometimes you take stuff like Sean was mentioning, coffee stains and whatever. You don't know what you're going to get when you get a piece of art, and sometimes you have to take what's available.
I mean, oddly enough, in a weird way, it adds something to me.
When I first saw it, I thought, was this intentional?
Yeah. It almost looks like it could have been done on purpose, like somebody who was trying to do a pastiche of Understanding Comics.
Well, that's why I had to read the description. I was like, tell me, that if this was done on purpose, they did a really good job.
Yeah.
But I thought the same thing. But then after I realized it was in fact damaged, that's when I was like, well, this is good. I mean,
think it's so cool.
Yeah. Again, I mean, if you really want something, you're okay with the condition. So congrats to Jeff on that. So Jeff got 2 picks in this week, so deservedly so. And again, this was a Scott McCloud piece. I don't think I mentioned that. And then this one, save the best for last. This is in Marcus's CAF Gallery, House of Mystery 251 piece by Sergio Aragonés. So,
I remember this book.
Yeah, and Sergio is actually the person I hope to have on next week with me to talk a bit about Al Jaffe, because they spent a lot of time together on Mad.
Oh, that's awesome.
Talked with Ken from 4C. Hopefully he's going to set something up. I think Sergio would be a great guest to have on to do a little tribute to Al. But yeah, who doesn't love Sergio's work? I mean, this is a great gag. And then I was like, wait a minute, what are all these photographs that Marcus put in here as well? And so I'm going to show those off too, but we can talk about the art too. But look at this. He went out and bought Lance's family. Look at everybody's got a Make Mine Wojdak shirt on right there. I'm expecting Albert to be really upset this San Diego because of that. But there's Marcus. He is the man of the hour, making everybody smile in the chat. And certainly here in my house too after that package. But there were a couple other photos. Oh, yeah, here was a good one. Look at that. He's got the crotch goblin there, and posing with it was Easter Sunday, crying out loud, right? I mean, everybody's in the spirit, even the crotch goblin.
The crotch goblin is risen.
So has Albert Moy. But yeah. Thank you, Marcus, for bringing a little cheer into my day when I saw that the other day. But yeah, this is a fun gag, though. Love the page. I would love to own this. So now, Marcus always brings out these really, really neat pieces that he shows on the site, and this is a really good one.
Yeah, this is awesome. I also know, having those photos. Man, I'm picturing Albert's reaction more than anything.
Oh, I can't. I wish I was there when they all walk up to him. Yeah, there's Lance sporting the we're just getting a lot of mileage out of that crotch goblin recreation that Sharon did. But that's good. That's good. We saw he had that with Daniel Warren Johnson when he went to that one comic shop like a month ago. I mean, it's making the rounds. And I did actually post, I think people who saw the Dueling Dealers promo pieces I put out this week, I finally uploaded the crotch goblin artwork to the t-shirt shop, and about 6 or 7 of them were sold. So clearly that'll maybe be making the rounds at San Diego and maybe even Heroes this year. Yeah, and it was funny. I put it on the I don't think I wore it during the show, but I wore it around the house the other day, and Maureen even walked up. She's like, I love that shirt. She's like, it's so gorgeous. I'm like, what has Maureen been drinking tonight? But she even liked it. It's a very well designed shirt. So it is on TeePublic. That is right, Marcus.
That's awesome.
But yeah, Chris, thank you. I'm sorry that we ran so long tonight, but I'm glad you hung out with me.
I'll sleep hard.
Yeah, Me too. Well, I'm taking tomorrow off. I'm actually going over to City Walk.
Attaboy.
Yeah, with my friends who are in town, I'm doing that, and then I'm going on a fishing excursion out of Tampa. So on Saturday, one of those
Fishing in Florida,
4-hour tours. So I hope I come back. But yeah, my friend, he was like, he wanted to do some fishing, and I thought, well, you could do like bass fishing inland, or we could go out on the ocean. I'm like, yeah, ocean's going to be better.
Yeah.
So that's what we're doing. One of those big boats that could probably hold up to 100 people, and you rent a rod. And I'm like, and they have beer on board. Maybe
Hard to beat.
I'll hit the Untapped while I'm out there and
There you
let
go.
you know what I'm tipping
Boat
back.
check-in. Yeah, my grandparents lived in Florida when we were kids in the Keys, and we would go deep sea fishing like a lot. It's hard to beat. It is really something else.
Well, I'm looking forward to it. I haven't done anything fishing wise in a while, and but yeah. So I'll have some fish stories to tell next week, I believe.
All right.
All right, man. Well, as always, Chris,
Chris.
thank you so much. It was a lot of fun, and
Great show tonight.
yeah, and I know I've got to try to get us a guest selector at some point. We haven't had one in a while, but maybe I'll shoot for the first Thursday in May. So that'll be 3 weeks from now. So you got 2 more weeks in a row. Is that good?
Yeah, I'm good to go. Loaded up.
Awesome. Thank you very much, Chris. Have a good night.
Thanks, guys. Night.
All right, everybody. I think we can call it a night. This was a rather fun show. I can't tell you how much I appreciate everybody supporting the commission opportunities that Sean and Jeff presented earlier. That was definitely unexpected. You know, I didn't really know what would happen if they would all sell or not. But as you heard, I mean, when I talked with Sean and Jeff, right from the get-go, they were incredibly supportive and wanted to make sure that the show was going to be a success, and they wanted to do something special. And it really kind of helped me kind of fashion the thoughts I had about the show, and I realized immediately the ties to what we were what we've done the last couple of years on the channel with the art sales opportunities, and it made sense. The show kind of, because I didn't want to do just a show, and then when they got involved with me, it just made a lot more sense. And then I did a little bit more research on different things that artists have done at shows with meet and greets and commission opportunities, and it definitely all crystallized after talking with Sean. So I sincerely appreciate their support, and I look forward to updating everybody while the commissions are worked on. I think that's going to be really cool, and I can promise over the next 2 to 4 weeks, you're going to hear a few more opportunities similar to that. We'll be able to start announcing guests and really getting everybody excited. And, because I am. I mean, it's going to be a lot of work to pull off. But as I mentioned, Kazra's been working with me a lot, helping me, fashion some of the ideas about the show. And it's definitely been a sounding board, which I, don't have often enough when I'm like doing side projects and things like that. He's been very, very helpful, and he's going to continue to be. So, I'm really, really excited about this opportunity. And again, I know we didn't make a slide or anything like that, but it is the weekend of January 27th and 28th, and the Friday will be the reception, Calf's birthday party. I mean, I can tell you that Anthony and Sharon are going to be there. They're coming down for that, and Anthony's probably staying for MegaCon. We will definitely have a cake made by Sharon for that, one way or another. Even though the hotel doesn't let you bring in your own stuff, we'll make sure that Sharon brings a cake to that reception and birthday party for Calf. So it's going to be a great event, and I hope it becomes a annual mainstay for our hobby. Looking forward to working with everybody on that to make it a special show. So with that, I am going to sign out. I've got a big day tomorrow, but again, everybody, I sincerely appreciate the time you spent with me tonight, and I appreciate the support. And I'll see you again next Monday. Don't forget, that is the Make Offer show with Anthony. So please, definitely tune in, make some offers on stuff that he's got. Obviously, we did that show about 3.5 months ago, so there may not be as much there to make offers on, but there's always something. You can package a deal with him and get a good combo deal going with him, and that always kind of greases the skids with Anthony when you do that. Have a wonderful night, and I'll see you again Monday evening at 9 p.m.